All right, welcome on in to another episode of DCU Daily. Today's actually a special MCU Weekly times DCU Daily edition on Oh So Curious. We have a bunch to get into as we do pretty much every day, but hey, today's show is going to be extra special. Why? Because, well, not only do we have to talk about the usual Superman milestones at the box office, of course, we have to get into all the conversation about Nobody 2 this week, coming out this weekend. What is it going to do at the box office? We will talk about all the Marvel news with Avengers Doomsday, Deadpool, Daredevil Born Again, Spider-Man Brand New Day, a number of those projects filming right now. The Boys wrapping up, so Homelander, calling it quits for the last time on set. And then, of course, the biggest reason why it's special today is because we have to talk about the Fan Expo Boston event that Lizz went to. And you guys can submit your questions, any questions you have about how a con works. Like if you go to a Comic-Con, what should you do? What should you not do? If you're curious, drop your questions in the live chat or in the comments after the fact, and we'll ask them to Lizz on the show, and she can answer them for you. And of course, beyond that, we have lots more for you, including the Peacemaker Season 2 red carpet premiere happening as we speak in New York City. So with that and so much more, let's get the show started.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always the number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
Robert
You're
Downey.
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chords.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right. Okay. Well, as I mentioned right off the top of the show, we've got a lot to get into today. It's going to be a packed show, as it always is, especially when you got MCU Weekly times DCU Daily edition. Of course, whenever we are talking MCU, we cannot do it without the very special and the biggest fan of Marvel, Elizabeth Marvel herself. How are you doing today?
I'm well. Hey, gang. Good to see y'all. It's been a minute. Appropriately dressed for this evening as well. Hope everybody's doing good.
Yeah, no, it's been an amazing week already. It's been an amazing few weeks if you're a fan of the comic books, because between the movies that are in theaters with Fantastic Four, Superman, and everything they're filming right now, whether it's Daredevil Born Again, of course, The Boys just finished up. I don't know. John and I aren't the biggest fans of The Boys, but a lot of people are. You you definitely are. They're also filming Brand New Day in Scotland. We'll talk about that. Are they going to be finishing up in Glasgow soon? What's left to film there? Avengers Doomsday continues production 4 months in. So a lot to get into as we usually get started. Just want to say hello to the people in the chat. Tony's here. Hello. Yash is here. The montage is lame. That's all right, Yash. You have your opinion, and you can take that to the trash can yourself. Liz, of course, in the chat live. With that, let's move into the first piece of news today, Liz. We're going to talk about the weekend box office. Now, I know we're kind of Wednesday going into Thursday, so it's about that time of the week where we start to get some numbers for what movie is going to do well and what movie is not going to do well at the box office at the weekend. So Bob Odenkirk's Nobody 2, of course, will be the newcomer, the big new movie. I mean, there's a few different movies coming out this week, but the biggest one is Nobody 2. Bob Odenkirk coming back after a heart attack, and he seems to be in his action star era right now. And it looks like the movie is good. The reviews are pretty good. It's preposterously funny, and as good as the first one is some of the reviews that I've read, Liz. But
I can't wait.
But as you can see here in the headline, Nobody 2 will not be able to unseat Weapons, Warner Brothers Weapons, from number one at the box office, which is a little surprising to me, considering it's a sequel to a movie that was successful. But it looks like they're looking at a $10 to $12 million debut for Bob Odenkirk's sequel. And then you look at you look at the first Nobody, it actually got all the way up to 27 million domestically, 57 worldwide, off of a 6.8 million debut, but it was in 2021, so definitely pandemic stricken. So this movie, has a bit of a bigger budget, going up from 16 to 25 million. And if you continue down the article, the first weekend for weapons was 43.5 million. However, second weekend is looking at a really strong, roughly 50% drop, or even less than 50%, somewhere between 20 and 22 million. So if you do the math there, 20 to 22 million for weapons is clearly more money than 10 to 12 million for Nobody 2. Liz, are you surprised that Nobody 2 will not outperform weapons? Because I feel like the bigger, not maybe the biggest star, but like right now, like if you look at who's in the marketing front and center, Bob Odenkirk, people know what Nobody is. Weapons just kind of came out of nowhere. What do you think?
No, I mean, there's always going to be a huge draw for anything that's like horror or scary. It's more appealing to teens. It's more appealing to college age students than necessarily like Nobody is more like I feel like an older generation demographic. It's an action film, but it's an action film about a dad. It's, you know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't surprise me that Weapons has a bigger draw. They've both been advertising pretty heavily for both films. I've seen a lot. So they've done their marketing. They are getting butts in seats, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, Weapons has a stacked cast itself with Julia Garner and Josh Brolin, so it's not surprising. And they're also marketing it as a based on a true story thing, so that has some appeal there too. I would definitely want to see it myself. I'm really intrigued by it, but I know it's going to be way too intense for me, so I'm going to let John take that one.
Yeah, look, I think for me, Nobody 2 is just one of those movies where it's the little engine that could, right? Like they're making it for 25 million.
100%.
So it doesn't need to make a ton of money to be successful. Not to mention, it's another one of those, subgenre of basically it's like a John Wick movie, essentially. It's kind of like when
100%.
the Rambo movies were huge. Or when
it's if your dad was John Wick, like
yeah, exactly. Or like when Rocky movies were big, both are Sly Stallone franchises. Like everybody wanted their own version of that, and we have seen every iteration of a John Wick ripoff. It just happens to be Nobody's one of the few that's hit, but it works somehow. It works, Nobody 2 again, not bad for a budget of 25 million. If it debuts to $12 million at the opening weekend, if it grosses anywhere close to what it did in the first movie, which by the way, like I mentioned earlier, 2021, it was affected by the pandemic. So hopefully this movie, can get off to a better start and a better finish.
You also have to take into account the time of year. Like here in the States, people are starting to, back to school is starting to ramp up. A lot of kids are going back to school. Parents are focusing on that, or they're getting, their last little vacations in prior to the start of the school year. So I think that's definitely a factor. Like I myself am not going to be able to see it until next week. So everybody's schedule is definitely a part of that factor. Whereas I said Weapons seems to be have more of an appeal for younger audiences, like I said, for teens and college age students. So people that may not be beholden to a Monday through Friday kind of schedule,
Which, I mean, like you mentioned, there's more kids going back to school. Now we're getting to that part of the month, part of the year. So even, colleges are going to start opening up. So there'll be fewer people who will have time during the day to go see the movies. So that's where I think that's also probably what's motivating Superman to be on digital this Friday as opposed to a week and a half later. But we'll talk about that a little bit, later in the show, as we do pretty much every day. There's actually some more Jeff Snyder stuff I'm sure you guys will enjoy because the conversation from yesterday continues. But in the meantime, let us know, are you surprised by Nobody 2? It's not going to beat Weapons at the top of the box office. Who knew that Weapons would be the number one movie at the box office, at least domestically in the US and Canada, for 2 weeks in a row? 2 weeks in a row, with a roughly 50% drop projected from 43.5 to the high mark could be 22 million or all the way down to 20 million. So it's going to finish ahead of Nobody 2, but Nobody 2 is certainly not doing all that bad for itself, 10 to 12 million. What are your thoughts? Are you going to go see both of them? Are you going to do a Weapons Nobody double feature? Let us know in the comments down below. So with that, Liz, let's move on to the next topic. What we have to now talk about is Paramount, the new Paramount specifically. So as you might have heard, Sherry Redstone has sold her stake in Paramount. The Redstone family is done with their, shepherding or whatever you want to call it of the Paramount company that they have had for decades. And now David Ellison, son of Larry Ellison, the CEO rather of Skydance, they've come in, they've made a multi-billion-dollar investment, and they want to, based on their comments a few days ago when they first did their media roundup, and I think a press release. They want to lead a tech forward company. They want to definitely make Paramount a company that feels like its interface for Paramount Plus and all the other things that they do tech side feel up to par with a Disney and with an Apple and a Netflix. But for those of us who are here for the love of movies, as most of us are, we care about the movies. And Paramount, of course, is I think the second oldest movie studio in the world, so or at least in Hollywood. And with that in mind, let's now talk about the movie priorities under the new Skydance owners for Paramount. And this is something that comes to us from, there was a media event out west earlier today, and a lot of the executives from the new team, including the CEO of the new Paramount, what did I say? David Ellison, not Larry Ellison. He was there, and then he, alongside the other heads of the studios, the television studios, the movie studios, they all talked about what their plans are moving forward. The TLDR is they're going to make Star Trek a priority. They're going to want to do more Transformers. Top Gun 3 is even more of a go than it already was. Of course, you could see there A Quiet Place. We already talked about it a few days ago. I think it was last week. John Krasinski is back to direct another sequel in that franchise. So they clearly are moving forward with this. Recently, we talked about how Timothée Chalamet and James Mangold, their highly sought after movie package High Side was picked up by Paramount as well. So I just want to quickly go through a few of the priorities here. This article has a detailed report, and they talk about how David Ellison was a huge fan of Top Gun Maverick, and he actually Skydance financed a lot of that movie. So now they definitely want to continue to be in the business of Tom Cruise, as well as of course Star Trek. Star Trek is a big tentpole. Liz, I specifically want to get your opinion on that, because while they're been doing a lot of streaming Star Trek TV shows, Cindy Hall in the chair of direct-to-consumer emphasized that made-for-streaming movies aren't a priority for me. So I hope that means we're going to get more Star Trek in movie theaters. So, and Dana Goldberg said Star Trek is a priority across the company. They even made the comparison to sort of like Star Wars, like Andor, like they want to give it that level of treatment. They want to make Star Trek even more prestige. I mean, I don't know if Star Trek was ever prestige, but I mean, Andor was prestige Star Wars. So your thoughts on this, whether it's, Tom Cruise with Top Gun, I don't know about more Mission Impossible, but, and then you got Star Trek, Transformers as well. They want to continue to work on those. There's potentially Michael Bay coming back to that franchise. Which of these many, pieces of news, Ninja Turtles, The Quiet Place Part 3, are you most excited about, as well as old movies they might be rebooting?
I mean, yeah, Ninja Turtles all day, but Star Trek, it's always tricky, that conversation, because while I do want more, I want them to continue, I want new stories, I want new characters, they just keep letting fans down time and time again, whether it be a streaming show, whether it be a new iteration of films. They don't market them properly. They don't stick to them. There's no loyalty, it seems, with any of those productions. So it's always a huge letdown, because fans get invested in these projects, and then they're gone after a season or a second season, or we're waiting years between films, like what we've got going on right now. They're talking about bringing back all Chris Pine and gang for another film, and I'm like, if I were Chris Pine, I'd be like, how long has it been? Like, I don't see him even being interested. I'm sure they're going to offer him a big bag, but I don't know that the payoff is going to be worth whatever type of effort they're going to be putting into making maybe a final film with that cast. I'm not sure. So I'm lukewarm about all of it. While I'm looking forward to any new Star Trek project, I always do so kind of from a distance, let's just say. I try not to get too invested, because I know they're just going to let me down anyway, but we'll see. I don't see anybody ever learning from their mistakes when it comes to Star Trek, unfortunately.
Well, it looks like they still have the same, creative talent behind the scenes. However, I will say I personally like a lot of the current iteration of Star Trek.
Same. I absolutely do. It's great.
Because I know John is a detractor, partly because he doesn't see half of them. I can actually say that. I can say that when Johnny's even here, because he admits it himself. But so his judgment I always take with a grain of salt. But I know that there's a lot of fans out there who just want to watch the old Star Trek and not the new one. I don't think
I like
everything
all
they've
of it.
done like recently is amazing, but I feel like they've had more good things than bad.
Yeah.
And you know what, Yash? If being Star Trekkie is being associated with being a nerd, then call me a
Hey,
nerd.
babe.
And if you don't associate with that, then or if you look at that as something derogatory,
What are you doing
then
on
you're
this
in the
channel
wrong
if you're
show.
not a nerd?
Exactly. Exactly. Do you think they should reboot the Star Trek movies? I don't know, Liz. I don't think that's needed, right?
No,
Like
we don't need
it's
to. We don't need a reboot. Give us new stories. Give us new
yeah.
characters. Give us new adventures. We don't need to go back to to the well. And James Gunn has proven that, I think, at this point. So, fans will still flock to the theater if we're given quality content.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, like I think the best answer to that is what they did with Star Trek Picard season 3. Where or even like season 1, I think season 1 probably a better example in this case because they gave
Yeah.
us a very familiar character of Jean-Luc Picard, but then they, surrounded him with a couple of characters that we knew from, other Star Trek shows back in the 90s. But then there were some new characters and a new story and a part of the timeline that wasn't previously explored. And so it was a nice combination of things. Star Trek Discovery is one of the most inclusive iterations of Star Trek I've seen. Uh, Speaking of nerds, hello Frankie, and of course Johnny Rico is here as well. Yeah, the Transformers and GI Joe movie, that crossover. The last we heard, was it who was the one? It wasn't Jerry Bruckheimer. It was the other mega producer. I'm forgetting his name. The producer of the franchise was like, we're tossing around ideas, so it feels like they kind of worked backwards on that a little bit. So I don't know if it's still happening, but the last we heard, they were trying to toss around new ideas for it. So there you go. But hey, yes, John is on assignment, Steven. Good question there. And then there was one other question. Speaking of Michael Bay, should he be back for Transformers? I personally am a huge fan of the Bayhem. So I'm like, give me more Michael Bay any day of the week. I think that his Transformers movies are bigger and grander. And yes, sometimes way too long and with too much CGI. But goddamn, if IMAX makes a show reel, they put a shit ton of Transformers scenes in there because some of the best work they've ever done, they've done it on those Transformers movies. So I personally am a fan. I don't know, Liz, what do you think? Michael Bay back potentially for a new Transformers movie? Would you want
I
it?
like some of Michael Bay's projects. I don't like all. I don't care for his stuff with the Transformers, for me personally, because he does a lot of extreme close-ups to the point where you have no context as to what you're looking at. He'll do like a close-up of like the abdomen of a Transformer while they're wrestling something. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, it's just a whole bunch of shiny
It's-
metal on the screen. So I have issues with his the way he does it, with his styling, the way he sets shots up for films like that. But like things like, didn't he do The Rock? Like movies like that, he excels at. That's his wheelhouse. Stick with those, Mike. I don't know that I want you doing any more Transformers, but I've seen every single Transformers film, so you'll still get me in the theater regardless. But he's all right. Good for him. More explosions. Everybody likes an explosion.
I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that. I did want to quickly address what Yash was saying. By the way, I do think when Yash is bringing his analysis, he does come across a little abrasive, is the word I would use. But here's the thing: as far as your argument for it's too niche, I dare you to go ask 100 people, and not just like you could do it anywhere wherever you live. You're in Toronto, go ask 100 people in Toronto. Tell them, do you know about Star Trek? And I bet you out of the 100 people, or twice as many people will say, yes, I do know what you're talking about Star Trek. They might know
Star Trek
a
is
little bit.
worldwide. Star Trek is universal. And
but
if
I'm
you
just
go
saying
to any country, you say Star Trek, they're going to know what that is over Black Mirror.
Exactly.
That's
Black Mirror,
example.
you underestimate, like Netflix is a bubble. And yes, Black Mirror is one of those, properties that has broken through that bubble. But let's be quite frank, Star Trek
But it's also not available in every country.
Yes. I mean, and Star Trek is like next level. Where there's countries out there where Paramount Plus is not available still, but Star Trek is available on Netflix or
and Star
Amazon
Trek has
Prime.
Been around for over 60 years. It's a household name.
Well
like
over
Star
60.
Wars.
Like it's almost 80 years, no, isn't it? Or
yeah,
is it? Am I
yeah.
still getting it
But,
wrong?
my point is, it's followed the same trajectory. I mean, it started before Star Wars and Superman, and so it's the household name,
Well,
just like all that.
after
Whether you're a
Superman,
fan
but
or
yes.
not, that's completely subjective. That's fine. You
Yes.
don't have to be a fan, but at the very least, give it the credit that it's due.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like Star Trek also is more expansive in its storytelling. Like Black Mirror is a very specific sort of dystopian sci-fi anthology, which is like it's closer to not Black Mirror. Well, it is Black Mirror is closer to the Twilight Zone than it is closer to Star Trek. And in that sense, I mean, look, here's the thing. Those Star Trek movies with Chris Pine and co, which we will actually talk about a little bit later in the show, they don't make, or they haven't ever made $1 billion, but they certainly made like $500-600 million. They made comparable money to the last couple of Mission Impossible movies. So
yeah, I saw every one
yes.
of the Chris Pine ones opening weekend when those came out.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah.
And by the way, Movie Spud shouting out The Island is his favorite Mayhem movie.
yeah.
The Island is a good movie.
Yeah, Armageddon's a good one, Tony. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what was the other one? Was it The Island? Was it The Rock? Am I thinking of the wrong movie was it The Island with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery and stuff?
I believe The Island is the one with Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's
the Rock.
Yes.
The Rock is
The
Nicolas
Rock
Cage.
is the one with
Yeah.
For me, outside of Transformers, The Rock is my favorite Michael Bay. I mean, but
I
also
will
like
say, I
the
love
Bad
Bumblebee.
Boys.
I liked
so
Bumblebee better than all the other Transformers films. I love that movie.
I'll be
And
honest
he
with
did
you.
Ambulance, the one where they like spent 50% of their budget on drones. Jesus Christ, I left that one after 10 minutes because I was
figured
literally so sick. I was so sick watching it because of all the fucking shaky cam shit that they were
I sort
pulling.
of skipped that one because I knew that wasn't probably going to be the very best one. That was
I
that
mean,
was
Jake
literally
Gyllenhaal
Michael
was
Bay
something to look at, but
got a drone the movie.
oh my God,
Uh,
seriously.
But if you guys are watching, hit the like button. We appreciate it. It's a small little click for you guys. It does a whole hell of a lot for us. Brings in more new people into the chat. But yeah, Yash continuing to still talk about Star Trek. But you know what? Look, you can ask most people. They'll tell you Star Trek is more popular than Black Mirror, if that's one particular example. But
I
we're
mean,
talking about the
that's
whole
not even a
slate here.
question.
Yeah. Transformers is a big franchise. G.I. Joe, obviously, you've talked about it. Top Gun Maverick. Well, just Top Gun itself, the Maverick, whatever they want to call the next movie. Then you have A Quiet Place. They've got a lot of dormant things too, because with the Hasbro partnership, they've got other things, whether it's G.I. Joe or, Transformers and beyond. Hopefully we'll get more of that as well. And they have the potential to create some new franchises too along the way. So I'm really excited by what's to come now under this new era of Paramount, because we are going to get a lot of things that we have potentially never seen before. Because one of the things that they pointed out, I mean, and I'll talk about it a little bit later too, AMC CEO Adam Aaron was on the same call with the media, and he said, "Look, the Paramount has been cash strapped in recent years, so they've been greenlighting fewer movies. They've been limited by their financial constraints," which is absolutely true. As somebody who used to work for Paramount, I can tell you that is absolutely true in more ways than one. So now when you have a company that dropped $8 billion to buy you, and some of that went towards the canceling the debt that you had, and obviously Skydance comes in with a lot of money to invest as well. Now they've got their hold on all this IP, this prime IP, kind of like when Amazon bought MGM, but even on a bigger scale, because you got Paramount as even bigger IP and more IP. So I'm excited to see where it goes. On the TV side, on the Paramount Plus side, Cindy Holland also said, we want to entertain all audiences around the world. So their focus is going to be, on creating shows that are available and accessible to people of all ages. They're also looking at it on a worldwide scale. They're not looking at like domestic and international. So that's one thing that was curious. Paramount Plus and Pluto TV might end up, eventually combining as well. That's a rumor right now. So that's interesting as well. And then when we keep going here through all these headlines, they did say they're not going to spin off their cable networks, but they also at the same time said there's still stiff headwinds in that business, and the possible streaming moves might happen where some things might become streaming only, but at least right now they're not looking to do what NBC Universal has done and what Warner Brothers is preparing to do next year. So they're not going to spin off their cable networks, which I think for Paramount is a big asset, right? Having MTV or obviously they have CBS, Comedy Central, these iconic Nickelodeon. So there's that. And then a couple other pieces of news. We had AMC Entertainment CEO, like I mentioned, Adam Aaron on the call. He was talking about how he's excited that they're going to be ramping up production, giving us more movies. I am curious, like how much how much Tom Cruise we're going to get, because he of course is over at Warner Brothers now. So I wonder if he's going to be more focused on producing those franchises over at Paramount, or if he's going to just focus more on things going over at Warner Brothers. Because recently we heard that the movie he's working on with Ana de Armas, I think it's called Deep or Deeper. I think it's called Deeper. That was having a budget battle with with Warner Brothers Pictures co-CEOs Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi, who were like, we're not going to give you $275-300 million to make this movie. So David Ellison might be, on the other hand, saying, come on back over to Paramount. We will give you $250 million for Top Gun Maverick 3, Liz. How do you take this? Because obviously from a distribution standpoint, AMC CEO, it makes sense. He's excited that they might be getting more movies from Paramount. But then from Paramount's perspective, do you think that they might also potentially overreach with the quantity over quality issue that Marvel and Disney have had recently? Or do you think, David Ellison is smart enough, given how they were investing in Paramount movies already, that they kind of know what they have in terms of IP, that they will make good use of that and not overextend themselves financially?
No, I mean, they've already proven that they're a bunch of big dum-dums over there, and we haven't gotten to it yet, but I know we're going to bring it up. So the fact that they're going to be laying off a bunch of people while also saying they're going to be ramping up production and getting back into these big mainstream, well-known titles. Exactly how are you going to do that with less staff? You have to spend money to make money, and you also need people behind you in order to make quality products and put out quality things that are going to resonate with audiences. So I see them making excuses and cutting corners, but then also being like, but look over here, we've got Top Gun 3 coming, and look over here, we're bringing Michael Bay back. Like, pick one, stick with it, make your message consistent. They just sound real dumb to me. They sound very scattered. They do not have a cohesive message going on right now. And it just sounds like they're doing whatever they can to get attention, but it's just one of those we're going to have to wait and see when it comes to the actual quality of the overall product.
Yeah, and they also, to me, what they're saying right now is they're talking generalities, right? Because some of it seems too abstract, because it looks like they literally just walked in the door and they don't necessarily have a plan laid out just yet.
It's a lot of wishful thinking.
Yeah, well, and that's actually also true, Yash. A24 is owned by one of the Ellison's family, the other heads of the Ellison's family. So yes, they're certainly a big part of the entertainment industry. But yeah, I think part of it is a lot of the new executive leadership, across the different studios and television and streaming. They're just walking in the door, so they're gonna want to put their imprint on their plans, and it will take time, because just by law they couldn't start planning on what they were gonna do before they got into their new jobs. So with that in mind, I'm hoping that we start to get more of a concrete slate of movies. I'm sure next year at CinemaCon is going to be really telling in terms of like, what is this new Paramount looking like? But it might take another 2-3 years for them to really get to that point, because they still will have a lot of projects from the previous administration that are still in production and on their way out for the next year or two. We still have a good Star Trek conversation going on in the chat, and we appreciate everybody talking about that. Star Trek is a big franchise. I'm just gonna say that, and a lot of people do know it.
It's
Kevin Davis is here.
Universal. It's everyone knows what Star Trek is.
Yeah, even if it's just by point of comparison, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, Star Trek," and they mean Star Wars, or Star Wars, Star Trek. Which of the Star franchises do you mean?
Right.
People at least people know what it is. That's what
it's a general name. Yeah.
The idea of okay, so more people watch Black Mirror recently on Netflix, sure, because Netflix has a lot more subscribers than Paramount Plus, but Star Trek is also available on Netflix actually, and Prime Video in other countries where they don't have Paramount Plus. So there is still general awareness anyway. And Kevin Davis making a great point. Scream 7, Sonic 4, so those are other franchises we didn't even mention. So Paramount has quite a few things that they're working on. So yeah, and Angelica, by the way, popping in the chat earlier, she mentioned that she has now seen Weapons twice.
Oh, dang.
That is wild. I mean, let us know. Did the twists hit you different the second time around? How did you enjoy the movie, or did you enjoy it less the second time around because of a movie? I
want to know how it ends, but obviously you can't spoil it. But I'm never going to see it.
Yeah, just don't spoil it for Liz.
Right.
So try to be
No,
careful.
don't spoil it for anyone else.
Yeah.
Please spoil it for me because I'm never going to see it. But don't
Yeah.
don't spoil it for anyone else.
Hello, Brogu. How are you doing today? How is Grogu? Let us know how Grogu's doing, of course, and we hope that you are doing well as well. I know we start late, so Brogu usually has to head out I don't know, maybe by midnight, but we'll see. Yeah, Freakier Friday and Weapons are both making money. We actually just did a story, Kevin, if you want to rewind. Freakier Friday
was so great.
It's in the top 5. Actually, we're going to talk about it tomorrow on the show list. So we're going to have a full review.
Yep.
And you're excited to talk about that. Weapons, of course, is going to potentially have a second weekend at the top of the box office. So both are doing really, really good. Hit or miss the Paramount in terms of the horror genre. Yeah, well, I mean, The Quiet Place seems to be their best thing going on that front. But, we'll see. We'll see. MTG is not a big fan of Weapons, apparently. You can miss that one. There you go.
Oh, don't worry. I'm missing it. Way too intense for me.
On the back of all of that excitement today, the Paramount stock skyrocketed as top execs were doing this meeting in LA. However, on the downside, Liz, and I do want to get your take on this because
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So your stock skyrocketed, but we're gonna fire a bunch of people. Well, maybe if you stopped making dumb decisions that ended you up in legal battles where you ended up having to write a whole lot of hefty checks, maybe we wouldn't have these issues. So I make it make sense. So your stock is up, but you're still cash poor. Bullshit. Please. I'm so, you know what it is? It's not even Paramount's fault. I am at corporation fatigue right now. I am at billionaire fatigue right now. I am sick and fucking tired of all of these $1 million, $1 billion enterprises fucking doing this whole woe is me bullshit. I'm being a little Johnny right now because I'm on 3 hours of sleep, gang. But I am so fucking tired of it. You're all bullshit. You spend more money than you fucking need to because heaven forbid we do anything on a budget. And then, oh, it didn't work out the way I planned. And oh, somebody sued us because we fucked them over and we didn't think they'd notice. I'm so sick and tired of it. I really am. I'm sorry. I just can't do it anymore. I can't. Like, holy shit.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, I think on the plus side, actually on not the plus side, but on the positive note, they won't be doing this in waves. Jeff Shell, who's in charge of CBS, said it's going to be a one and done. It's going to be painful, but it's going to be a one and done. So at least everybody who's going to get let go will get let go all at once. So they won't, people won't be just sitting there like, oh my God, am I going to lose my job next? But they didn't give a timeline. So David Ellison, the CEO, said we're not going to talk about that right now. We will worry about that later. So, which is okay. I'm sure, like I said, they probably don't have most of the stuff figured out anyway.
They don't have anything figured out. They're dum-dums.
Yeah, it is always sad to see, obviously, people losing jobs, but it happens whenever you have mergers because there will be like 2 people doing the same job. So it's part of what mergers and acquisitions, usually go through in corporate world. But I understand what you mean, Liz. And your rant, like Fiona saying, John will be proud. So because John actually had some pretty epic rants for the last couple of days. So
right.
Yeah, those are worth a rewind. Anyway, okay. That's all the Paramount talk that we got for now, guys, because, hey, Paramount, the new Paramount, it's on its way to setting a new vision for itself. They already have ideas for what they want to do with all their IP, what they want to do on television, on streaming. What do you want to see next from the new Paramount? Let us know in the comments down below. In the meantime, Liz, you went to Fan Expo Boston, and it's one of the big Comic Cons, and this was your first time there. So nope. I want to. This wasn't your first time there, but I thought you said it was your first time there.
This was my first time spending the entire weekend there. This is the 3rd time I've been to Boston.
Okay.
To Fan Expo Boston.
I stand corrected. But the big thing we want to do here is we want to talk about all the things you got to see there. Obviously, the people that you met. And as you talk about them, I'll bring up some photos that you have from the event. And then in general, if you guys are watching live, let us know what questions you might have, because Liz is a bit of a connoisseur when it comes to Comic-Con. She's been to so many of them.
I go to 4 a year. Yeah.
So that's 4 more than I usually go to. So on that front, if you guys are curious, if you want to visit one yourself and you want to know what it's like, what you could do, how you want to divide up your day, Liz, if you want to give us a bit of an overview to start, that will give the folks in the chat a bit of time to get you questions, and then we can talk about the people you got to meet in Boston.
Yeah. So, I mean, everybody knows about the big ones, the San Diego Comic-Con, which always starts first, and then the New York Comic-Con. So those are the two on the East Coast and the West Coast. But there are cons all year round throughout the season. There's Dragon Con. There was Wizard World, which is now Dragon Con. There's D23, which is the Disney Con. There's now Fanatics, which they just had
Fanatics
in the
Fest,
Javits Center last month, which I'm actually seeing all the footage from that. I'm probably going to go next year. Holy shit. I go 100% for celebrities, for the meet and greets, for photo ops, for selfies, for autographs. I brought my binder with me so you guys can see. These are all the autographs and photo ops I have amassed. I have been going for over 10 years. I started with Wizard World, which, like I said, is now Dragon Con, then went to New York Comic Con, then found out about Rhode Island Comic Con, which is where the majority of the celebrities are. A lot of people sleep on Rhode Island just because they think it's Rhode Island. It can't be that big. Rhode Island is the biggest con that I go to every single year. I spend the most money there. I spend a lot of fucking money there, to be fair. And that's not in a braggadocious way, let me tell you. But I've now also started going to 90s Con, which is here in Connecticut, where we are in March. So I've been doing that. I talked a little bit about that in the beginning of this year when I came back from that, a couple of the celebs that I met there. So when I talk about meeting celebs, I've literally met them. I've spent some time there. A couple have passed away now. I've met Hulk Hogan. I've met Nichelle Nichols. I've met Jason David Frank. RIP to all of them. So again, I go for celebrities. There are plenty of things to do and see. There's a shit ton of vendors selling all kinds of nerdy wares. It's unbelievable the things that you can get, things you've never seen anywhere else, things you can't really Google and that defy explanation. And everyone asks, oh, are you ever going to go to San Diego? For me, no, I'm not. Purely because everything about San Diego, as far as what I'm interested in, is done through a lottery. So after going for over a decade, I understand that schedules change, things come up with celebrities, travel itineraries, upset their schedule and their plans. So for me, it's not worth it, because even if I had won the lotto and got the full weekend, got tickets for the entire weekend, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'll still get the opportunities to do all of the things that I want to do. Whereas with all of these other cons that I attend, it's not that limited. It's not that structured. It's certainly not at that grand of a scale. Where again, New York Comic Con is huge. It's huge. Hundreds of thousands of people, 4 days straight, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I have a list. This is how I organize the celebrities that I'm meeting. This was my Boston list. I only met 12 celebrities. Again, that's the smallest con. They usually have the least amount of celebrities at Boston, for me anyway. As of right now, the number of celebrities I'm hoping to meet in Rhode Island is almost at 30. It'll probably be closer to 40 by the time they finish announcing celebrities. But every con is structured differently as well. So Fan Expo Boston, Rhode Island Comic Con, you can buy tickets all the way up to day of, whereas New York usually has Friday and Saturday sell out. 90s Con, their Saturday sold out. San Diego, again, it's all lottery based. So these are the celebs that I met at this one. That was Catherine Tate. This is I got selfies with, as well as autographs. Some I just great autographs. And they're all the prices are different. So I wanted to, the big one that I brought up with Dan was I met John Cena. That was the big one. He does a lot, but unfortunately, because he is a big seller and the con knows this, they oversold him. So every single thing on his schedule, he was only there Saturday. Yes, he was only there Saturday. Every single thing he had on his schedule was at least 2 hours late. So that's also something that a lot of people don't understand about Comic-Cons, especially because like the majority of the people that were there to see him were only there to see him. So it might have been their first time at a Comic-Con ever. It might have been their first time in Boston. They were there to see him. So a lot of fans, when scheduling upsets happen, get really pissed off because they just don't understand that that's the nature of the con. Shit happens. So the day that I met John was Saturday. These are some of the things that fans brought for him to autograph. I thought it was wild, the shit they carried in there. But I was done with my day by noon, but I wasn't able to see him. It was scheduled for 2:15. So let's go back. So again, like I said, San Diego Comic-Con, everything's done by a lottery. New York Comic-Con, it's not done by a lottery, but they have specific days when they launch ticket sales, autograph sales, and photo op sales. So sometimes those things sell out as well. So when they say, hey, we've got these photo ops are going live today, there's a big queue because they will sell out for big ticket names. So like Jason Momoa, for example, he was one of the first big celeb photo ops that I ever got. He was the first celebrity that I put on my Christmas card. They oversold him and his schedule changed. So he went from 2 days of photo ops and autographs condensed all down into one single day.
That is wild.
Which
That's
again,
just too...
if you were only there Friday to see Jason, and unfortunately they moved his autograph and photo op to Saturday, which you didn't get a ticket for, which you're not going to be in town for, it sucks for people. It's a big bummer. So that's why I go the entire weekend, because again, I understand that shit happens, but I understand this from going for over a decade. So these are kinds of things that a lot of people don't know when they walk in, when they get their ticket. Also, autographs and photo ops are not refundable. They will let you transfer them for something else. You'll get credit. So like, oh, so I met Jennifer Beals here. Oh, if Jennifer Beals cancels and I have pre-purchased her autograph, I can use that fund for somebody else, but they're never giving me my money back. You're never going to see that money again. That's how it is. So Jason Isaacs, another delightful man that I met. So these are all the celebs that I met at this con. Again, John Cena, he does what they call a whole John Cena experience. So he does photo ops, he does autographs, and he does big panels. And then all of those are priced at different tier levels. It's a whole thing. Normally, when you purchase an autograph from a celebrity, they have an array of 8x10 photos from their various projects, shots from their various films and TV appearances, or just some nice head, like glamour shots that you can select from, and they'll sign them. The reason I put the Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes one up was because when I went through John Cena's list of his experience, the different things that you can buy, the different tier levels, I'm reading it and I said, he's going to pull a Kevin Smith. And sure as shit, I was right. So what that means is you buy your autograph and then you show up and there's a table in front of the table. And you find out from Kevin Smith's people that that's great that you bought an autograph, but we're not going to provide you with an 8x10 like every other celebrity that you've ever met will do. You have to then purchase that 8x10 for an additional $10, which is annoying, kind of shitty considering you're spending these kinds of dollars just for the autograph itself. But John Cena did the exact same thing, unfortunately, which I found to be kind of disappointing, because if you can go back a couple, Dan, I'll show you exactly what I paid for the 8x10. Oh no, go forward again. I'm sorry. Nope, that was his panel. So at table 8x10 autograph, I paid $160 around, with all the add-ons and so an extra $10 fee. So I paid like $170 to get his autograph. And then when I showed up, I had to pay an additional $10 in order to pick up one of his 8x10s for him to sign. Oh no, there it was. It was the 106, excuse me. So I paid $113. So $113, and then I had to fork over an additional $10 for the autograph. I was expecting this. I figured that's what he was going to do, seeing all of these price points that he already had. But in my opinion, it is a kind of shitty practice, because a stack of 8x10 doesn't cost him a whole lot at the end of the day, comparatively, especially with all the money that he's raking in from everything else. And then sometimes celebrities will do this well. So the autograph premium for $150, $160, that's if you bring like a Funko Pop for him to sign, anything that's kind of 3-dimensional. And then again, this is part of his overall package. So you get admission to his panel and a photo, and I think an autograph is included with all of that. I'm not really sure. I didn't open up the whole thing. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys the prices are all over the place. I have gotten autographs anywhere from $30 to $300, depending on how popular that person is at the time. All the Marvel people, for example, are high ticket items. I believe Elizabeth Olsen is over $300 for either a photo or an autograph, things like of that nature. But listen, I met John Cena. I had a conversation with John Cena. The man shook my hand, made direct
jealous.
eye contact with me. I told him, I said, listen, I have been a fan of yours for quite some time, but I'm so happy for you with Peacemaker. You're absolutely killing it. And he was like, yup, season 2 is dropping really soon. Like, so it is, for me, it's worth it. I can understand. Again, I was in line. I was supposed to see him at 2:15. I did not see him until 4 o'clock. Okay. My day was done at noon.
Wow.
So I was hanging around for an extra 4 hours.
What did you do for 4 hours? Like, how do you fill the time?
Well, you try really hard not to spend money. But that's so again, this is the thing for me, because people are like, oh, do you do panels? Do you do this? Unfortunately, I am beholden to the celebrity's schedule, and I am there's Helen Hunt. My God. I love you, Helen. I am beholden to whatever is going on there. So again, because they oversold John Cena, he had photo ops that morning, and he was only there Saturday. That was it. Saturday was all we got. So they oversold his photo ops. So all of his photo ops went late. So then they oversold his autographs. So all of his autographs went late, but he will not leave until every autograph is signed, until every photo is taken. And then he goes to his panel. So if you're a diehard fan, it's worth it. You're still getting your time with him. You're still getting what you paid for, but it is a very, very long and frustrating day. And you are in a crush of thousands of people, most of whom are cranky and don't understand why there's a delay and don't have the grace for just recognizing that shit happens. And again, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor were there as well. Exact same situation every single time, any con they've ever been to. They always oversell them. It's Sebastian Stan's birthday today, so I wanted to throw that one out.
Happy birthday, Sebastian.
I met him in New York about 5 years ago. This one, I need to tell this story because fucking Sebastian Stan, he had a long day. Okay. All of his shit ran late as well. He again was my last autograph of the day. I was in line for over an hour waiting for him to show up before the autographs even started being signed. We were just waiting for him to get done with his photo ops. I actually met a very good friend in line with him. So thank you, Sebastian Stan. Every time we see Sebastian Stan, we're like, hey, he brought us together. My girl, Abby, she's been on the podcast, but freaking Sebastian Stan was exhausted when we got to him and was being a little playful. So he saw that this was the picture I chose. He was holding a blue paint pen in his hand at the time. Saw my photo, put the blue paint pen down with a sheepish little grin on his face and picked up a black Sharpie. So that's it. You can barely see the autograph. He thought he was being so fucking funny. But again, these are the kind of experiences you get. I have met Michael Rooker 3 times. I will meet him everywhere he goes. That man is wonderful. He is a beautiful, beautiful human being. There are some celebrities that I have met more than once, and I will continue to meet more than once. I threw that.
Does he remember you? Like, does he know that you like?
Hey, Liz. So my friend Abby, whom I met in line with him, she has very red, very curly hair and glasses. So she's got a very distinct look. She has met Kate Mulgrew from Star Trek 3 times. Kate has remembered her.
Wow.
She has met James Marsters from Buffy 3 times. James has remembered her. So it depends on who you are, depends on your look overall. But I threw in that picture of Jonathan Rhys Davies. I actually met him in Rhode Island 2 years ago. But I met him. I got an autograph for a friend from him this year. So I threw it just because, again, it was another celebrity that I met. But Helen Hunt, again, Jennifer Beals, beautiful. I mean, look at her, for God's sake. She
looks great.
Different at all.
Her daughter's an actress now, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
and she's in some new Star Wars stuff. She's in the Book of Boba Fett.
yep. Mhm.
So she's gaining popularity. So again, this is what I go for. I go to meet celebrities. That Sebastian Stan one for a while. He really pissed me off with that, with the black on black autograph. So I kind of gave him shit for a really long time about it, but I'm over it now. I still love you, Sebastian. Happy birthday.
Great
Kate
question.
Mulgrew for me. So I did not have the same experience as my friend Abby had with Kate Mulgrew. Kate Mulgrew, when I met her, seemed very uninterested in speaking to me. It was one of those kind of like move along, just one like, yep, okay, it's nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Chevy Chase I met, he does not look at you. He does not speak to you. He is surrounded by yes men that just are constantly telling him like old man jokes. So that was also kind of a bummer, but I got to say I met one of the three amigos, and that's what I cared about. So yeah, you do have those instances as well. One story I've got to relay, and I was telling Dan about this earlier on off chat. I met Gina Gershon in Rhode Island a couple of years back, and I was like 10th in line for her. So I said, okay, great. This'll go by real quick. I was in line for 2 full hours before I got up to her. I
Whoa.
was the 10th person in line. And I mean, I can see the woman. I said, what the actual shit is going on? She was taking forever with these 2 fans. I said, what the fuck could possibly 2 hours? By the time I got up there, so again, they'll sign autographs, they'll do selfies at the table. And some people will bring 10, 20, 30 items because they're vendors and they're getting them signed on behalf of other people that they're going to ship the stuff off to. I've experienced all of that. Gina fucking Gershon offered custom caricatures for $150. So if you went up to Gina Gershon and was like, I would like an autograph, I would like a selfie. Oh, they will also do personalized videos if you'd like, kind of like
Ooh.
cameo style.
Like
Again,
okay, I was gonna say.
you're paying for all of this. But then some of Gina Gershon's fans wanted her to draw them for the high price of $150, and they fucking paid it. So those encounters were about 15 minutes apiece. So again, even though I was 10th in line, there were like 5 people ahead of me that they got up there and they were like, oh, a caricature by Gina Gershon. I have an extra $150 lying around. What the fuck? Oh, I was so mad. I can't tell. Never in my fucking wildest.
Hey,
So
Cole.
you get all kinds of crazy stories, yes, she drew them and she had multiple colored markers, Tony. So she, some girl had like different colored hair. So she's grabbing 3 different markers. Oh, I was ready to wring Gina Gershon's damn neck when I met her. But I got my selfie. She was a lovely lady. She was very nice to me.
What did you ask her to draw for you? Did you have her like do just a stick figure?
$150 on a goddamn cartoon from Gina Gershon? The shit out of here. Are you joking? Oh my God.
Actually, so speaking of which, because this sounds like maybe a never meet your hero situation, MTG was asking, have you had any of those situations? Like,
Well,
encounters?
no, yeah. So I said Kate Mulgrew, Chevy Chase. Nobody that's ever been like overly shitty to me, like, because you're not gonna be there and see thousands of your fans and be a dick, because you're not going to be invited back, and certainly people are going, word will spread and nobody's going to want your autograph or your selfie or anything like that. I did meet Denise Richards last year in New York, and her shitty ass now ex-husband was there, and I could tell he was a shitty ass person at the time because he seemed like too good for the fucking room. Then like, why are you coming? But whatever, he's just dragging on her coattails, and I hope she drags his ass through the mud in the divorce proceedings. Good for you, Denise Richards. Oh, Tony, you're so sweet, and thank you for spelling my name properly. But yeah, so I mean, I just have, again, this is why I go. Because I have decades worth of all of these stories of
that is crazy.
heroes,
people have photo albums. You have an autograph album.
This is just how I keep them safe. So I used to have a wall of fame in my house, but it got too full. I ran out of wall space. So now I scan all of my selfies. I scan all of my autographs. I scan all of my photo ops, and they're all on a USB. And so I have them on a monitor, and they're just on rotation in my house. That's how I display them. A couple of months back when I did an episode of the show with John, you guys saw it. It was on the background. So that's Alan Tudyk. That's my first ever photo op with a celeb. That was at Wizard World, which again is now Dragon Con. My very first photo op ever. So yeah, I got John Boyega in here. We were talking about Star Wars.
Okay.
You guys, he is so much taller than you think, and ooh, is he handsome in real life. Cool Runnings.
Hey.
And then
Ron Perlman, nice.
Ron was nice as shit. I got a selfie with him. But again, I go to meet these people. That's what I spend my hard-earned dollars on. I do occasionally sit in on a couple of panels if I have the time, but like I said, everything to me is beholden to the celebrity's schedule. I tell people all the time, do not attend Comic-Con with me. There's no point, because I wait in line all day long. I go from line to line to line, and then I get the fuck out because my social battery is spent. But if you're one of those people that has no interest in spending money, you can go and have a great time, because there's plenty of things to see. There's plenty of things to do that you can do for free. We did at this one at Fan Expo Boston, we did a friendship bracelet exchange. They have a couple different things. You can do a book swap. There's a lot of different activities. But it's a lot. It's hundreds of thousands of people from all walks of life, all with different personalities, some in cosplay, some in just regular garb. This is one of my mainstay Comic-Con t-shirts that I wear. Do I have a selfie with Britney Spears? She hasn't come through yet. That would be nice, but she hasn't come through. Maybe if I go down to Vegas, I can get my chance. But I wouldn't mind it, that's for sure. I just like a good story. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, again, we're going to talk more about the people I meet when New York rolls through. I already have a couple of those autographs pre-purchased. You guys are going to be really excited to see who I meet. And then Rhode Island is coming up. It's going to round off the end of the year, and that'll be the last one. So it's a lot of fun. It's a whole lot of fun. But again, it's a lot. If you get easily overwhelmed, if you have social anxiety, if you're not a fan of huge crowds, these are not the places for you. They are not the spaces for you, but this is what I do. Like, I very rarely go on vacation, but I definitely go to Comic-Con. So if anyone else has any other questions, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys an overview of what it's like. It's a lot. It's a hell of a lot.
Yeah. By the way, D Cole is here to talk about Deadpool. We're getting to that actually right after this, so do stick around. We're going to be talking a lot of Marvel. I mean, literally, Liz, your name is Elizabeth Marvel, so
I mean,
it's kind of in the name. So we're going to get into that in a second. But I was curious because you have a sign behind you, like the usual.
Yeah.
And today it says blank space, and I'm wondering if that's a reference to Taylor Swift or I mean, because I don't see anything on screen here. You got an autograph of an empty yellow box. Is that what
it's a twofer?
Is that the reference?
It's a twofer. I'm so funny. It's a twofer. Yeah, blank space could either be for John Cena or for the most recent Taylor news. You guys take it as you will. Tony, my favorite meet, I will say John Cena was a class act. I will say that man, again, direct eye contact, shook my fucking hand. But just much like
he's
Kevin,
really nice.
Even though I was annoyed that I had to fork over an additional $10 for the 8x10, Kevin Smith was delightful, took the time, had a full conversation with me.
Exactly what I was saying, Johnny. I was like, did you see him? That was my question. Like when Liz was like,
yeah,
I'm going to meet John Cena.
There's my Walton Goggins. Beautiful man. Adore him.
Wow.
I mean, I really haven't had horrible experiences with anybody. Everyone's been pretty amazing. There's my Brendan Fraser, Tom Hiddleston.
Ooh, wow, okay.
We'll have to he is the reason I went to Boston Fan Expo the first time, Henry Winkler. And he is actually going to be in Rhode Island, I believe, this year. So I will be meeting him again because it's Henry fucking Winkler and he deserves all of our love and admiration. So yeah, there's favorite meet. William Shatner was delightful. Nichelle Nichols was delightful. Really, again, I think maybe the people that have passed, I did meet Hulk Hogan controversial, I know. I've met Zachary Levi twice, which again, also controversial. I've met Dean Cain. Holy fuck, you don't get any more controversial than that these days. Live and learn. Unfortunately, they weren't dickheads when I met them, but unfortunately people change, or just you find out who they really are. I don't know.
Maybe they were just closeted dickheads back then,
I will, let me just share this about this. So I picked up this photo and I said to Jason, I don't really I like this photo because you seem annoyed, like you seem like you've been interrupted. And he goes, actually, on the contrary, this is a shot that never appeared in any of the films. And I said, yeah, I thought so, because I didn't recognize the dogs. I don't remember seeing two dogs.
But I remember this shot though, yeah.
No. So in this scene, Lucius was actually supposed to be doing like a PSA. This was when Ron and Hermione and Harry went off into the woods and tried to hide. So this was Lucius being like, oh, we're so concerned about their safety. If anyone is aware of that they're okay, that nothing bad has befallen to them. And then there's Jason, like, he knew full well that he was already in Bellatrix's dungeon. Like, he was like, they're still so into it. They are still so so a part of those characters. They are still so a part of the fandom. They love it as much as we love it. So it was really cool to, again, I just picked that photo because I thought the photo was cool, and he provided me with this amazing story for it. So
that's wild.
It's again, and then there's the Weasleys and Luna Lovegood that I met in Rhode Island. Wow. I've also met Neville Longbottom. I'm sure I can find him somewhere.
We recently found out the recasting for that.
There's some Marvel folks you might recognize.
Ooh, Josh Brolin, weapons.
Josh Brolin, look, his hand is on my shoulder. On my shoulder. And then so Fiona asked about Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa, I wasn't even with him long enough to get a whiff of his aura, girl. It was because, again, they condensed his 2 days into one. So what turned into a 500-person photo op became a 1,000-person photo op. And it was just before Aquaman came out. So he had really hit the mainstream.
Okay.
Everybody was there dressed as fucking Aquaman. And they do it military precision style. You are lined up. They scan your QR code. You're next. Be ready. Put your shit down. Make sure your hair is good. Okay, go. Look here. Smile. Great. Get the fuck out. It's even faster than that. So, as thrilled as I am to say that I have touched Jason Momoa, I have a photo with Jason. I did not get to really interact with the man. I said hi to him. That was as far as that went. Same thing. I got a photo op with Chris Evans only because his autograph sold out. I prefer an autograph because, again, you get stories like this. You actually get a little bit of time with all of them. You can have a decent conversation. With the photo ops, you don't get that. You don't get that kind of time because you are in, you are out. Thank you. Goodbye. There's Sean Gunn. Delightful.
Ooh. This is the experience. Like, they're just folding pizza boxes. That's how they funnel you through.
That's what literally. It's like. Yeah. So it's, so it all depends on what experience you're going for. For me, it's the autographs, it's the selfies. Celebrities used to hate doing selfies when they first started offering it because they thought it was kind of vapid and shitty. But then they realized, like, oh, this is a selfie of you and me. Like, you're not selling this to somebody else. You're not potentially going to make money off of a selfie with you and I. So now they love it. Now they love doing selfies because they recognize that you're a true fan if that's what you're doing. So just going through a little more here. Yeah. That's the voice of Johnny Five. Thank you very much.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. I met Jim Cummings this year at Boston. He is the voice of Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, as well as Darkwing Duck, as well as one of the guards in Aladdin. As there you are, pretty much every character that you see there. He's done the TV version of Scar. I mean, it's just, and if you now he does TikToks where he's doing the Pooh voice of his grandchild. It's wonderful. There we are. That's the third time I met Michael Rooker, and that's the Guardians.
Nice. Wow. Okay, it's quite a few of them there.
So yeah, so it's a lot, gang. It's a lot, but that's what I do. That's what I go for. So, and I mean, you want to talk about Star Trek. I have met almost everyone from the Next Generation. I've been in the same
Oh
room
man.
as Patrick
Yes.
Stewart, but I've not met Patrick Stewart. But I've met everyone else from TNG. I've met Carl Urban before he was, when he was in Star Trek. That's how I met him.
His
So
bones.
yeah. Giancarlo was delightful. I told him his handwriting was beautiful because it is. Jesus
It is
Christ.
like, holy shit. That is
I
a beautiful
mean-
signature. Wow.
I mean, come on. So yeah. One of these days, maybe I'd love it if we can go through it all. But yeah, so that's the first time I ever met Michael Rooker. Isn't that the sickest photo you've ever seen in your life?
That is really cool.
And
I
then
loved
there's
him in Guardians. We
right
actually were
there.
talking about him yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot. Have I ever got a cameo? No, because I can never decide who I want and what I want them to say. I've thought about getting it from for other people, but I have not done that. So there's another one from Star Trek. Ralph Macchio, right before Cobra Kai came out.
Oh, you got him in cheap then.
Yeah, I did get. He was very cheap. I'll be perfectly honest. He was. And then sometimes you get random people like Coco and Ice-T showing up. So that was awesome. They were great. They were super kind. But yeah, so John Leguizamo, the T buffering. So yeah, it's just
Did you get Buffy ever?
Buffy's never come around. And her fucking husband, Freddie Prinze, cancels every con he's ever agreed to show up to. So he's supposed to go to Rhode Island this year. We'll see if that happens. He canceled 3 years in a row. Freddie Prinze, you bum. Here we are, Anson.
Oh, Anson Mount. He was on the Batman fan casting last week. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Q.
Delightful men.
Wait, was that Q? Wait, what was that? Q,
yes, it
right?
was Q. It absolutely was. Also in Breaking Bad, that gentleman.
Kit Mulgrew.
So,
Brent Spiner. He's one of my favorites.
Brett ended up signing it twice because I spell it Liz with 2 Z's and he got hung up on the 2 Z's. So he wrote Brett twice.
That is a very data thing to do, isn't it?
Spiner. So he goes, "You're the only one in history that has that." So Denise and John.
Ooh, Jonathan Frakes, Denise Crosby.
Yes.
Okay,
nice.
Oh
man, you guys might recognize Denise. She was also in The Walking Dead. In case you're not a Star Trek fan.
Mm-hmm.
So again, there's Carl Urban and Hulk Hogan. I met them both the same con.
Wow, that's a duo. Okay, that's Johnny Cage on the left.
They weren't
Maniac's
anywhere.
Brother.
They weren't anywhere near one another, but yeah, they were there. Michael J. Fox. I have a picture with him and Christopher Lloyd. I've met Christopher Lloyd as well. I've met Elizabeth Shue. There's my Chevy Chase. Fucking waste of time, but I got my Three Amigo. And there is almost all of the Breakfast Club.
Ooh.
When I stood in the middle, Judd Nelson said, "You're Emilio." But now Emilio Estevez has just started making his rounds at Comic-Con, so I'm hoping to meet him eventually. There's the Alan Tudyk, the first time I met him. I've met Anthony Michael Hall 3 times. He is a absolutely delightful individual, very, very kind man. I will always meet him every time he comes around. I met the original voices of Rogue and Storm.
Ooh, okay, from the X-Men.
X-Men is what got me into fandom, that and Star Trek The Next Generation. Also, Dante Bosco, Rufio.
Wow.
Friend of my mother, I told him he is the reason I knew I was heterosexual. So there's Chekhov for you, Dan. I mean,
Chekhov! Wait! Bring him back up. Bring him back up again. Yes, Chekhov.
I was wearing my Wakanda versus everybody shirt when I met him, and he goes, "What is a Wakanda?"
What is okay? Have you ever gotten Scotty? Then have you ever? Well, you got Simon Pegg, so you got one.
No, the original Scotty passed away. There's Marissa. There's Ric Flair.
Hey, Aunt May. Ric Flair. I can't do a word.
Yeah. So the original Scotty had passed away before I got that chance, but yeah, no, I've been very, very fortunate. Sting I met last year. There's David Tennant.
Oh wait, okay, Sting, like the Stinger from WCW. Oh, Stinger, okay. And then
he was my first favorite wrestler. Next, well, it was Ultimate Warrior, and then it was Sting. And there's my Jason Momoa right there.
We got woos in the chat now. Everybody's wooing in the chat. Oh, Jason Momoa.
You guys, can I fucking tell you, that poor man, I'm shocked he hasn't lost his mind and been locked up in an institution, because literally every 10 seconds, anywhere he goes in the world,
Somebody's gonna.
woo!
Yep.
Woo! All fucking day long of his life, this poor man. He was walking to the toilet and people are wooing him. Like, holy
Wow.
shit. Steve Burns from Blue's Clues. Mr. Feeney, that's my mom. Mom went with me for
Nice.
that one. Yeah, I mean, what, we're just gonna go through it here? Because I'm just having the time of my life. I never get to talk about these things with people, so
Tony's
Paul.
just falling over backwards at this point. Paul Rudd.
I apologize if I'm wasting people's time. Gentleman from The Office. I told Stanley he was my favorite.
Nice. Well,
Chris
Oscar's back.
Evans.
Okay, Captain America. There you go.
That was the big one. They fucked me over on that. If you can see, look how shitty. So look at my hair. Look at my tomato face. So what happened with that was, because again, it's military precision. They shove you through. They shoved me through this curtain, which is what fucked up my hair. And then they were like, no, it's not your turn yet. And they shoved me back in the curtain. So I don't know what the shit I looked like by the time I got to him. And that was it. That was my first impression with Chris Evans. So that was fun.
Have
We had
have
just
you ever
gotten
gotten
married to
Jack
someone who's
Black?
16 years younger than him, so I don't care anymore anyway. There's Michael J. Fox,
Oh
Tim
man, that's
Curry,
awesome.
and Susan Sarandon. Tony will line up for a photo op with us. Oh, anytime. Oh, this is what I go for. I'm making these memories. I get to tell these stories. Again, there was Christopher Lloyd, the first Comic-Con I ever went to.
Ooh. Okay.
Kiefer Sutherland and Jason Patrick from the Lost Boys. Thank you very fucking much. Thank
Oh,
you
Kiefer
very
Sutherland.
fucking much.
Damn. Okay.
I told them, I said, this is the greatest day of my life when I met the two of them. Holy shit, I was not kidding. I've met Will and Ryder. I did not meet Topanga yet, but we'll get there. So yeah, it's just a bunch of the Saved by the Bell cast there. Yeah. All of the Lawrence brothers, they were delightful. I met them at 90s Con in the beginning of the year. Skeet and Matthew, delightful individuals. The remaining cast of 90210, I did meet Shannon Doherty before she passed. I have a selfie with her. So yeah, these are just the autographs, gang. This isn't the selfies. So Dermot Mulrooney I just met. Punky Brewster I met. Yeah. Big range of folks. David Arquette, very quiet but delightful, lovely man. Oh no, I just opened up my binder. That's going to be a problem. But yeah, so again, this is what I go for. This is what I work hard for. This is why I'm a nerd. This is why you have me on the show. Because
that is all true. That is all true.
I can't help myself, you know.
I mean, you're a fan of these celebrities, but I'm pretty sure you've made a few fans for yourself today, because people know how cool.
That's very kind.
Well, person you are.
You want to talk about don't meet your heroes? So Jamie, Jamie was high as absolute fuck. He was on some heavy shit. He looked like he hadn't changed his clothes in the whole 3 days he was there, which was kind of a bummer. So I don't think I will ever meet him again. That was a real disappointment, but you know, what are you gonna do? So yeah.
Yeah, that binder must be worth quite a bit of money. Keep that safe.
I don't know, because you know my name is on it, so it's not like, I mean, I guess you know you can remove it, but yeah, Molly Ringwald dressed like a substitute teacher. I don't know what the hell was going on with that, but you know, again, it's why I'm there. It's worth it for me. Oh, there you are, Max Madsen.
Oh, okay, nice.
You know,
first he's been in so many things.
Yeah. Oh, Ted Lasso.
When he's saying that it's priceless. Oh, I love him. Yeah, he's one of my favorite parts of the show.
And this is actually Danny Elfman. This is Danny Elfman. He had a couple music sheets like this, and I told him, I said, that's all you should do, like because he had like the posters for the movies that he had done the scores for, but I'm like, no, you should have your sheets of music. Our boys from Scandal.
Okay.
Well,
Peggy Carter. Hey, okay.
I didn't expect to go through the whole binder, but here we are. So,
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, the way
Yeah.
you're describing those photo ops definitely feels like one of those Sebastian Maniscalco sketches about Chipotle. Like they just stuff
Right.
you, push you into the thing. It's like,
that's
God.
exactly what it is. Ming Na Wen.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
Yeah, she was in
I don't
Star.
know
She
if
was in
anybody
Stargate.
saw The Expanse.
Yes, The Expanse. I love him.
He was
Something
very polite,
Amos,
very kind,
right?
very kind
What's
man.
yeah?
Yeah. Again, more from The Expanse.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
And
he's the
then
lead.
my boy from Supernatural. He
Did
is
you get?
he
Did
is
you get anybody
coded
from like?
tattoos.
Oh shit. Okay. Did you get anybody from Stargate, like the Stargate franchise? That's my favorite sci-fi
No,
franchise.
I've not. Jared from Supernatural.
Oh,
I've also been in the same room as Jensen Ackles. We've breathed the same air.
Oh,
I have
damn.
yet to meet him.
Maybe a future Batman. That's
There's from Star Trek.
Marina. Is that Marina Sirtis?
It is Marina.
Nice. Okay.
And there's Johnny Hart from WWE.
Yes, sir. That's the voice. Was the voice of the South? Is he? Jimmy
Mouth
Hart
of the
was
South.
really
The
mouth of the South.
So
Mouth of the
he
South.
traveled around with Hulk Hogan, and
Yes.
I met him prior to meeting Hulk. And then when I met Terry, he said, "Oh, make sure you say hi to my buddy Jimmy Hart."
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh no, I did." And Hulk Hogan goes, "Make sure you still have your wallet."
Yeah, well,
So,
Jimmy
yeah.
Hart actually, on a sadder note, Jimmy Hart was the one I think who originally broke the news of Hulk Hogan's passing to
Probably.
TMZ.
So there's Zachary, and there's Harvey from What We Do in the Shadows. Yeah, but I will say Hulk Hogan, his hands not only were the size, color, and texture of baseball mitts. Jesus Christ, you guys. It's just like
Question
But
from
he shook my hand, very
yeah.
polite, very kind to me. We talked about his kids, the voice of
Ooh,
SpongeBob,
SpongeBob. Okay.
Alicia Silverstone. I'm pretty sure she was drunk when I met her, which was unfortunate. Very bizarre. Elvira. And then again, from Harry Potter, Neville Longbottom.
Nice. Oh, he grew up. Damn.
You're
Okay.
gonna tell me, son. Oh, and there's the Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes, and then also Elizabeth from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh yeah, she hasn't done a whole lot since.
And you know what? Good for her. Why spoil a good thing? And then
What was her name? Elizabeth Henstridge, I think that was her name. Yeah.
And then my two vampires from Buffy.
Oh, well, he was also in Bones, the one I
Yes,
forgot.
and SWAT.
Yes.
So David Borealis, I was at a panel at the first con I ever went to. It was his panel. He was kind of douchey. He came off very much as like a sports bro, a gym bro, and I was like, ugh, I don't know if I want to meet him. Cut to 10 years later, he came around. The price was right. I think at the time when I first saw him, he was charging like $125 for an autograph, and then 10 years later, it was down to like $50. So I was like, all right, I'll throw him 50 bones, whatever. So kind, very different person from the person that I saw on that panel 10 years ago. I'm glad I waited. The mother in Supernatural, I forget her name.
Oh, okay.
And look at that. Look at that.
No, Battlestar Galactica.
So say we all.
The best sci-fi show of all time. It's all happened before. It will all happen again. Yes.
Joey Fatone.
Okay, now I'm actually genuinely jealous of that. I'm so
George
jealous.
Takei and his husband. His husband was there, kind of like helping people like navigate the table and stuff. But they had photos of the two of them, and I said, Brad needs to sign my autograph as well. And he said, "Oh, Brad will sign, no problem." There is LeVar Burton. Now, when I told him my name was Liz with 2 Z's, he said, "You should add a third Z and tell people the third Z is silent." So he added the third Z and wrote, "Remember, the third Z is silent."
That's great.
William Shatner.
Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. There is man on the plane. It's so good. So good.
Yeah.
Love
so and again, these are just the autographs and photo ops. These do not include the selfies. They do not include. There's
couple
a lot
of questions
out there. Jake the Snake, I didn't show you before.
Oh, Jake the Snake. He's one of the few kicking around from that era still.
So I met Sergeant Slaughter and I met Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Jim Duggan is carrying around 6-inch pieces of 2x4. And that's his signing. So if
That's
you
his
saw
thing.
if you played my video of my review of the Naked Gun with the beaver on my staircase, there's a block of wood behind that beaver. That's my Hacksaw Jim Duggan
That's
autograph.
awesome. That is
I told him,
amazing.
I said, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
So, Liz, I know we can continue this
Sorry, I
conversation
know
tomorrow too.
I
No.
way
It's
too
all
long.
good.
Sorry.
I've got 3 questions for you from the folks in the
Yeah.
chat,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna have to talk about Marvel. Obviously, that you're
So
here to
much.
talk
I'm
about
sorry,
Marvel.
gang.
But any Power Rangers signings? Did you get any?
Yes. So
Okay.
I have photo ops. I don't have signings. Well, that's not true. I have Jason David Frank's autograph. So I have an in memoriam wall in my house. So that's why he's not a part of this album. Jason David Frank is hanging on my wall along with Nichelle Nichols. I have to put Hulk Hogan up there now as well. And there's a third person up there. I can't remember who it is. But yeah, so I've met Jason David Frank. I have a photo. He's the first celebrity selfie I ever got. I didn't pay for it. I went up, I just paid specifically for the autograph. And as I was talking to him, he said, "Oh, do you want a photo?" And I said, "No, I didn't pay for one. That's okay." He goes, "No. Go ahead. Give this guy your phone." So he gave
That's
me not
awesome.
only my first selfie with a celebrity, but a free selfie, which
Yeah.
was very kind. So Jason David Frank,
Wow.
I've met Amy Jo Johnson, who was the original Pink Ranger,
Pink Ranger.
and
Yep.
I met the original Black Ranger as well. His name escapes me. I apologize. But I've
Oh,
met him. I have a selfie with him and with Amy as well. I pretty much meet the Power Rangers just to impress my nephews. But that's how that goes. But I have selfies with the likes of Kel Mitchell and I mean, the list is, again, like I mentioned, Shannon
Al
Doherty from
Mitchell.
90210. I have a selfie with her. So the list is vast.
Walter Emmanuel Jones, by the way, the original Mighty Morphin Black
Yes,
Ranger. There
thank
we
you
go.
so much. Yes, I do have a
Thank you,
selfie with
Frankie.
him. Thank you, Walter Jones. Yes.
Yep.
Speaking of
That's awesome.
Walters, I have a selfie with Paul Walter Hauser, for example. So again, none of the selfies are in there, but I have selfies galore. I have just probably as many selfies as
Yeah.
I do autographs and photo ops now as well.
Okay, so do you go to actually any panels? Because that's also a lot of what people do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I usually do in New York because in New York, it's also kind of like a lottery. Like you get into a
Mhm.
pool and it's a matter of you get picked or not. So you're allowed to pick, I want to say, I think 8 panels you can bid for, and then you usually get, anywhere from 2 to 4. So but unfortunately, again, because of I have gotten panels that sometimes I've had to skip. I've had to sacrifice because the celebrity I was going to meet was only there that day. So I've been in and out of panels. Like, so for example, I was in a panel for the Orville. I was in a panel for Ghosts. I was in a
Ooh,
panel
okay.
for Mindy Kaling's Velma that nobody liked. I've been in a panel for the Weird Al story. So I was in the same.
Ooh,
I breathed the same air as Daniel Radcliffe.
reviewed
He was
that.
there.
Yep.
I've been in panels for Supernatural, for Bad Omens, for What We Do in the Shadows. So I have been to quite a number of panels as well.
So, did you ever get a chance to see Henry Cavill in any of these events? Or is he
No,
not?
I have never been in the same space as Henry Cavill. What also is kind of a bummer with the way the panels are set up, because it's limited space in those rooms. They can't fit everybody in. So a lot of the times when you hear, "Oh, so and so showed up and they did a panel," some people are only there for the panel. Like you never see them. They're not there for autographs. They're not there for photos. They're just there for the panel. So
Yeah.
for those people that get the opportunity to sit in that's great. So like Jack Black showed up for the Minecraft, like, things like that, but he never made an appearance on the show floor.
Makes sense.
Fun fact,
Okay.
Daredevil Charlie Cox, he showed up in Rhode Island a couple of years back dressed as Bluey. So he had like face paint on and everything. I fucking probably walked right by goddamn Charlie Cox, and now I'm gonna meet him and pay money to meet him where I could have met him on the show floor. But you have instances
You're
like that.
interviewing him, right? Like,
I would
or
love to.
wait,
I
I
don't
don't know
think
if
that's
that's
happened. I mean, I really don't.
okay.
Yes, he's been in this room. He is good friends with my podcast producer, but I don't expect that I'll ever meet him without forking over some cash. So I will hopefully be meeting him this year at in either New
Yeah.
York or Rhode Island. I believe he's going to both.
Awesome. Okay, so a couple of last questions. By the way, Marco was just checking in, saying hello. How are you, charming host? Amazing
Hey,
chat.
Marco.
So hello, Marco. And then Fiona was asking you, does your friend Abby have a binder full of people too?
She
Because we
does.
saw.
She does. She's a little worse than me as far as like fan favorites are concerned. She doesn't meet as many as I do. She probably meets like maybe 5 celebrities. She goes for panels specifically. She likes panels. So she meets maybe 5 at every con, but she does go to every con, including D23. They fly all the way out to California for that. They go to Dragon Con in Atlanta. She and some other friends. So she goes to more cons than I do, but she started later than I did. She's only been going for the past like 3-4 years.
Right.
But like, again, she has met Kate Mulgrew multiple times. She has met James Marsters multiple times. So she's even more selective about who she meets than I am. Whereas like, again, for some people like Denise Richards, like she was there, I got a selfie with her. It's nice to say you met Denise
awesome.
Richards. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah,
we all have different feelings on it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is still overall. It's like you said, it's not for everybody because I went to Fanatics Fest and I had to for it's mostly for sports stars. So for Emmett, I got a Emmett Smith jersey because apparently you need to bring something to sign. So I had to get not a cheap Emmett Smith jersey, which was it was a collectible
and then
one.
The autograph, I'm sure, wasn't cheap either.
No, it wasn't. And then it took me like 40 minutes. I actually tried to get an autograph for Alexa Bliss, and that line was like almost 2 hours. So I couldn't. I actually was like, I'm done. This is not worth it. So I sort of just like skipped out on that one after paying for it. It's tiring because like it was in a Javits Center, so like it's just. Yeah, I did it. I went there because I went with one of my friends. He wanted to really go, and he had free passes to go there. So I even paid for my ticket, but it's all good. It was an interesting experience. I mean, it's not necessarily something that I would do all the time, but I mean, hey, it's obviously you have a lot of fun 4 times a year. So we hope that maybe you can get into.
That's what I go for. I already expect to be in line for a while. I expect to not be able to have the time to do anything else. And I also expect to spend a fuck ton of money. And again, I'm not saying this in a braggadocious way. It is stupid the amount of money I fucking blow at these things. But I'm able to have these stories. So that's
which is really cool. I mean, and ultimately, it's the experiences that matter. So hopefully, you'll get it. Maybe if DC Studios has a panel at New York Comic Con like they did last year with the Future Commandos, if James Gunn shows up, I we'd love to see if you can get to that one. So
but I'll certainly try.
Yeah, well, we'll keep you guys posted, Liz. Obviously, I know if you do get a chance to go.
For indulging me, gang. Sorry.
We will talk about it. But hey, with that in mind, guys, let us know in the comments down below. What do you think about Fan Expo Boston? I think Liz is going to more this year and then even more next year. And if you have any other questions you didn't get a chance to ask her while we have been live, you can always leave them in the comments down below. Liz is back on tomorrow's show, so we can continue talking about it, answer any other questions. And yeah, it's not for everybody, because obviously there's a lot of cost to it. NAB is another one in Vegas. I actually would like to go to NAB. I'm a big tech nerd, so Enterprising, that's one that I would like to visit. But yeah, as everybody in the chat is saying, thank you, Liz, for all sharing all of your insights. Right now, we have a chance to move over and talk about the other favorite topic that Liz would like to discuss, which of course we have to get into MCU Weekly. We have a lot of news from the world of the MCU. It's gonna be fun because I know a bunch of you guys were here and we're gonna be talking about Avengers Doomsday. We've got potential X-Men rumors, as well as of course we got Spider-Man Brand New Day. Not that Spider-Man, but hey, let's get into it, shall we? They
are re-releasing all of those Spider-Mans in theaters.
I hope so.
No, they are. They're doing a marathon coming up.
Oh, they are? Oh my god,
yeah,
that's
all 3
like
of the Tobey Maguires. Yeah.
That's a full day. That is a full day. Well, you're getting a lot of thanks and a lot of amazings. You've definitely made a lot of new friends.
Thank you so much. That's so kind.
But hey, the very first thing in MCU Weekly we got to talk about is Daredevil star Charlie Cox. Now, he said this the other day. Speaking of Charlie Cox, you've said that you would love to meet him. Actually, you already met him.
There's a very good possibility I'll be meeting him. We can't rule that out.
He's recently been talking about how he filmed Daredevil Born Again's second and, in his words, final season. So people are wondering, does that mean like that's all the Daredevil Born Again we're going to get? But then more recently, in the days since Charlie said that, Vincent D'Onofrio, who of course plays Kingpin, sort of contradicted it by saying something, kind of to the effect of like, hey, we will probably get a third season. So Charlie Cox originally said, there's something we do in this final season that doesn't exist in the comics. So it's unique to our show. So people were like, whoa, final season? And then Vincent D'Onofrio went on and said there's a good chance there will be a third. So, of course, Wilson Fisk, of course, of all the people who would contradict Daredevil, it would be Wilson Fisk. So who do you believe here in this case, Liz? And then just let's say for the argument's sake, if it is the final season, do you think they gave this Daredevil revival enough time? Because obviously we know that the ratings weren't as good as even Agatha All Along. So it's not as popular necessarily as some people might make it out to be.
I mean,
but nonetheless, it's well known.
I mean, they marketed the shit out of it the first time around. The second time, I'm sure it's going to be very much the same. I believe Vincent, I did meet him as well. He waved at my mom, very nice, but I don't think they're going to stop at 2 seasons. 3 seasons would make a little more sense. It's a little more well-rounded out. I feel like it's a waste if you're doing 1 or 2 seasons.
Which, by the way, was like, remember there were 18 episodes that this split in half. So this is technically the original first season's worth of episodes. It's not even really so, unless that's all they had in mind,
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's going to be a third, but again, we need to see how the second one does. But we also, the first one didn't do so hot, and they still said we're getting season 2 anyway. So who knows what's going on? I think Charlie's just trying to be, diplomatic about it since they haven't announced the third officially. So he's just trying to, do the right thing and say, well, it might be it. And whereas Vincent doesn't give a shit. It's Vincent D'Onofrio. He can say whatever he wants, and he will.
Well, he's been much more positive about it, although Vincent D'Onofrio did say there's a rights issue with Wilson Fisk being in the movies, because technically I think the movie rights might be owned by like Universal or something. Either that or they're associated with Sony in a way. So Marvel technically can't really use Wilson Fisk in movies. So unfortunately, because Spider-Man is probably not going to make it into, because it's the opposite is true for Spider-Man. Sony really only has a deal for the movies. So Spider-Man, in the MCU can't cross over into the TV shows, and Wilson Fisk can't cross over into the movies. So until, people in charge make some changes, I don't think we're going to get a crossover there, at least not for the foreseeable future. But yeah, Daredevil could show up in a lot of places. I wouldn't mind seeing him in any of the 2 upcoming Avengers movies. We will talk about that because there's speculation.
We know the Punisher is going to be in the upcoming Spider-Man film, so it would make sense that somewhere down the line, Spider-Man and Daredevil are going to collide as well. Again, we've got multiverse.
Well, they did already in the last movie.
Yeah,
remember, he's a really good lawyer.
Really good lawyer. So with the multiverse, all bets are off. So anything can happen. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, damn Sony and their rights. It's all good. It's all good. But hey, it looks like Daredevil Born Again may be going on beyond season 2, but it's not confirmed.
I should be meeting Karen this year as well at Comic-Con. I should be meeting Karen as well.
Oh, okay. Well, she's back in the next season, despite the fact that she was dead. Or not dead, but she almost died anyway. So, but she was kind of written out of the show technically. Anyway, we'll talk about that when the season comes out next year. But Liz, there's another piece of news here in IGN. This is related to America Chavez, of course, played by Chotil Gomez in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And it looks like, based on something she recently said, she might have just confirmed that she's back in Avengers Doomsday, even though they haven't officially announced anything to that effect. Now, what she said exactly, so let me just kind of read this here quick so it gives us a nice amount of context. When asked by an interviewer about being hard at work on Avengers and having to remain tight-lipped, Gomez responded, very. It's an ambiguous response, of course, so she didn't deny it. She didn't say no, yes, no. She said that, you have to keep really tight-lipped. But then, she was kind of pressed on the question, and then later in the interview, she was asked about hey, there's so many stars attached to that film, yourself included, to which she simply replies, oh. So again, just speculation, but she it sounded like, if you listen to the clip, that she might have given away that she could potentially be in the new movie. There are some comic, precedents for America Chavez, being in Avengers movies, and her character kind of evolves over time. Would you like to see her back? Because I think for John and a lot of people who watched the movie, they felt like she was underutilized in Doctor Strange.
I completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree. I would like to see more. I'd like to learn more about her character and the kinds of things that she's capable of and her backstory and how all that is going to play out. So I'm really happy to. And as someone said, they're trying to set up the Young Avengers, so it would make sense. And they have said regularly that they're trying to build up the next wave of the next 10 years worth of cast. So yeah, I hope she does. I mean, I feel like at this point the more the merrier. So why not?
Yeah, we don't know when we're gonna get the Young Avengers. Kevin Feige's been very tight-lipped. Speaking of being tight-lipped about that.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's keep on going here. There are a few rumors we got to talk about. In addition to some actors hinting at their future hopes and dreams in the world of Marvel, but there's a rumor going around that more Avengers Doomsday casting additions might be revealed soon, along with potential details for X-Men's astonishing costumes. It's in the word, the astonishing X-Men potentially. But hey, they might potentially be bringing back Captain America and Peggy Carter, because apparently we were talking about this the other day in the leaked
Surprising
script.
no one. I've been saying it all along. Chris Evans is coming back.
They've been
I've saying
hiding location names and stuff. So even if a script leaks, you don't know, because it's like code names and stuff, which is kind of crazy. So, Liz, just in general, I would like to get your opinion on: would you like to see any number of Doctor Strange, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, obviously,
Yeah.
Clea, played by Charlize Theron, Monica Rambeau? Would you like to see Bruce Banner, She-Hulk? There's also Kate Bishop, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, of course. You have Cassie Lang. You have Love. She was in the Thunderbolts. And actually, no, she was in Thor: Love and Thunder. She's the daughter in real life of Chris Hemsworth. Yep. Of course, Hope Van Dyne, Evangeline Lilly has publicly said she's not coming back, but is she lying to us? We're going to talk about Deadpool in a minute. Of course, Wolverine is still hanging about somewhere in the MCU multiverse. Any of these characters, do you believe the rumors that there is going to be a second chair stream, the live chair, where they reveal the names on a list on a series of chairs? And would you like to see any of these characters come back for that?
Yeah, first of all, I'm probably meeting She-Hulk at the end of the year as well. No, again, when it comes to the multiverse, all bets are off. I coming from the perspective as a fan, the more the merrier. Again, Endgame, we all creamed our jeans when the big fucking fight scene happened and they brought everybody out, with the exception of the X-Men. I want to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man get back with the Avengers. I've been saying it. I will die on this hill. Chris Evans is coming back. He can't say no. He can't resist. They will give him all the money that he wants. So please give me a break. So I love all of them. I love all of them. I want to see more. I want to see how they all interact. I want to see their characters meet one another for the first time. I want to see people reunite. I want to see people brought back from the dead. I want to see different iterations of. I'm good. Give me all the variants. Give me all the characters. I'm great. I want all of it. I love it. Give me more. You can never give me enough. Hopefully they write it well. That's the only thing I ask. But no, I don't put anything past them, because they do what they want.
Well, I mean, the big thing behind
no
these,
to Marvel.
Well, that's also true. Like Patrick Stewart keeps coming back, Ian McKellen. Some of these actors have said they don't want to come back, and they come back. But anyway, I was gonna say, of course, the rumor right now, the one we were talking about all these characters potentially being in the new movie, it stems from the idea that we recently found out at I think it was Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, where Rebecca Romijn was like, I don't know if I'm finished filming my scenes because they're still writing the script. And then we recently heard that Pedro Pascal had wrapped his part in Avengers Doomsday, at least. But hello, Travis. How are you doing, by the way? So we know there might
be
still
meeting
be.
Famke Janssen this year.
That's awesome. She's another. I mean, she's not. She's one of those characters or actors who's not listed. She was not in Chair Watch. So, but what I was going to ask you, Liz, is so the rumor, not just the rumor, but what Rebecca Romijn said at Comic-Con, in addition to some of the other rumors we have heard, they might be continuing to work on developing the script, changing things up. Marvel kind of plugs and plays things. Kevin Feige has said they're going to stick with their method. It's not broken, according to him.
Well, and all of the actors
very different from Marvel.
They never know.
DC.
They never, They never know anything, because they get individual pages a day, and then the pages are taken back. So they don't know what they're filming.
Incredibly secretive.
Yeah.
So to that end, I guess my question would be: do you believe the idea that there might be a second Chair Watch, and they will announce all these other characters? Like, for example, My Time to Shine was saying the fact that America Chavez's literal power is traveling the multiverse, yet she won't even be Doomsday to have an important role in Secret Wars, shows just how much of a mess this saga has been. Maybe they're trying to fix the mess. Maybe they're trying to rewrite some of the scripts. And then, of course, the same, Scooper said for the multiverse to die or to live, Steve has to die. So if Steve is going to die, then we got to bring Steve Rogers back because he's still kicking around in his, I don't know, like 200s at this point, however old he is. So do you think they're going to do another set of announcements here where we're going to get another row of chairs with new names that we haven't seen yet?
Unfortunately, I'm concerned that they might. I think it's lame as fuck if they do. It's so gimmicky. Like you been there, done that. You're gonna do it again. It's dumb. But again, but I also don't want them to either. Like I want to be surprised. I don't want to know everybody that's going to show up. I want them to appear, and then I want the whole audience to erupt in applause when it happens. So I hope they don't jump the shark with this and reveal their hand. But I mean, from this list, it's like, okay, well, so just say you're bringing everybody back because you're bringing everybody back. Like, stop it. But I have no control over Marvel, unfortunately.
By the way, Travis giving us his thoughts. Deadpool could be a background character in Doomsday, and Disney Plus does a special presentation of Deadpool's Secret Wars, like the comic showing what he's doing during the movie. You know what? That would be amazing. Would be really fun. I don't know if Ryan Reynolds is into the idea of doing a Disney Plus special, but sure. But you know what? Since we are on the subject, yesterday, Ryan Reynolds posted this image. Apparently, it looks like a T-shirt or something like that, where I think John talked about this on the show yesterday. So if you guys were watching, you remember this conversation. It's an Avengers logo with pretty much like a Deadpool-esque A on top. Now, I was watching the John Campea show earlier today, as I do every once in a while, and they talked about, because John Campea has famously got an in with Ryan Reynolds, either Ryan Reynolds directly or his representation or somebody in his inner circle. So he got the information. He wouldn't reveal the source, right? And that's completely fine. That Ryan Reynolds wasn't hinting at Avengers Doomsday featuring Deadpool. He was like, that's definitely not what was being hinted at here. But then again, Ryan Reynolds did not post this thing with any text. It's just a photo with no caption. So we're left to wonder what that actually means. And Travis was talking about how we might get Deadpool as maybe a little bit of a background character, a cameo, and then he might do his own thing separately. So yeah, I mean, Liz, do you think Ryan Reynolds is like too dumb to not realize? Because I don't think he is.
No.
That this is the exact reaction the world will have. I mean,
yeah.
Do you think he's trying to hint at something? I mean, obviously, it doesn't seem like he's hinting at
Ryan Reynolds is the Taylor Swift of yeah, he knows what he's doing. He is doing deliberate things. He's putting stuff out there 100%. Just because he's not explaining himself doesn't mean he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Come on.
Yeah, because I'm like, is he like kind of putting, I don't know, the bat signal in the sky, the proverbial bat signal for Kevin Feige, like, put me in, like, I want in. So yeah, exactly. He's far from. He's one of the best. He's one of the best minds for the entertainment business in Hollywood. Like, as an actor, obviously, co-owner of Wrexham. He's got a ton of other businesses. The guy that he's a walking, talking PR machine. So I don't know if I don't know if that has ruined his image. It's definitely depends on
I don't think so.
How closely you follow all the tabloids. But I just wanted to bring that up because it looks like, it's not hinting directly at the idea of Deadpool and Avengers Doomsday, but maybe it's more like not yet. And it might actually end up happening eventually. You never know. So Travis saying
that
also
the
cool,
A Travis. That would be cool.
Be for Alpha Flight. Captain, Canadian Marvel team, Rhino. Oh,
that would be very cool.
Okay. Well, that would be cool. Like you said, Liz. But hey, speaking of cool, we know that the new Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day, the fourth Tom Holland adventure as the wall crawler, of course, he is now donning the classic, or closer to the classic iteration of the Spider-Man suit. And when you look at some of the latest set photos, Liz, they're continuing to film. It looks like a chase sequence where he's on a tank. It's meant to be New York. They're filming it in Glasgow. I don't know if we have gotten a ton of reactions from you on the suit yet, but what do you think about these photos? These, by the way, look like they're professionally shot. I don't know if this is
Yeah.
somebody Marvel hired, but these don't look like the Superman set photos we got last year.
No.
But just your thoughts on the costume and action, and clearly in some of these shots, it looks like they might have a stunt double, but then in some of these other shots, I mean, we have seen the mask comes off or a mask is already off, and it's Tom Holland.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the looks we're getting here? Because they might be wrapping up filming in Glasgow soon, but we have definitely got a really, really good at Spider-Man out in the open, in the wild.
Yeah, I don't care about suits. I've never had an opinion on suits other than when X-Men first came out and they were in the all black jumpsuits. That pissed me off. But other than that, I don't care. As long as the actors can pee comfortably in them, I don't care what they look like. As they've got to be somewhat accurate, but no, that's cool. New suit, good for him. I really don't have an opinion.
I do like the photos. Because again, these photos look perfect. Like you
They
can
look
see
really
these,
nice. Yeah.
like you could see these photos in a concept art book, or not really that, but the production book, like behind the scenes of filming this movie. They were shot with the Sony A7 IV, which is a great mirrorless camera, and they are great images. I love seeing this because we have seen other videos and photos that don't look nearly as cinematic, but these look amazing. And pun not intended, or maybe intended. It also still blows my mind how well Glasgow stands in for New York City, right? It's not the entire, the whole city, but they definitely use parts of it, and then I'm sure they're going to replace other parts with CGI set extensions. But it's a lot cheaper to shoot over there than it is in actual New York City. Travis is saying with the Russos directing certain scenes in these movies, one experiment I've never seen. It's taking a 2.5-hour movie, making 2 hours of it in the movie, and having a 30-minute prelude to something else. I actually haven't really seen too much about that yet, but I mean, we have seen the other stuff recently that the Russos have directed, including the post-credit scenes for Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. So I wonder if that means there is a much deeper connection between the Spider-Man movie and Avengers Doomsday, where of course RDJ, the artist formerly known as Iron Man, I'm just a dude, dressed as another dude playing another dude. Do you think the Russos, Liz, are actually gonna tie this movie directly into Avengers Doomsday to the point where people are gonna walk out and be like, give me Doomsday now, and then they have to wait for 6 months? Like,
I mean, I freaking hope so.
Yeah, is that true? Could that be true?
Well, you know what? I'm hoping that it's going to be more of the same that what we've got, where so far all the little snippets and the little breadcrumbs don't make any sense to us. And I'm loving that so far. I'm really happy with that. Again, we had our a belief as to what we were getting with the end credit scene in Thunderbolts, and then the end credit scene in Fantastic Four completely changed everything. Well, Fantastic Four itself completely changed everything, and we were like, well, what the hell does that mean? So that's what I want. Give us more of that, so that then when the actual film comes out, we start to piece things together and it all makes sense, because Marvel is good at that. I don't give a shit what anybody says. So that's what I want. I want that. I don't want to know who else is going to be in it. I don't want to know any other things like that, but give me more to pique my interest, but still also leave me completely confused. I think that would be great.
No, I wouldn't mind that at all, especially if that ends up, all coming together as a perfect jigsaw puzzle by the end of it all. But yeah, as long as it's not a bait and switch situation like Enterprising was talking about, I'm okay with that. Speaking of Spider-Man, though, another rumor is hinting at the idea. We know that they're pretty much moving away from Glasgow. They're almost done filming what they're meant to be filming there. But in the upcoming days, as they wrap up their shoot in Glasgow and go to other locations, Spider-Man Brand New Day might be filming with multiple villains for this movie. We know that they recently already shot some scenes in Surrey, England, which is, well, not in Scotland, obviously. It's further south, where Tom Holland and Zendaya were filming some stuff, and we have seen set photos. We've talked about those. But yeah, Liz, do you think we're gonna get a much closer look at a lot of these other villains? And are there any villains you'd like to see? Like, for example, John Bernthal just wrapped up the Punisher special in New York because he had to go over to the UK to film his Spider-Man sequences. Do you think we're going to get to see John Bernthal on the streets of Glasgow before they're done filming there?
I mean, I wouldn't be mad about it. Hopefully I'm meeting him at the end of this year as well. Please cross your fingers for me. He canceled last year. Sure, why not? How else are they gonna meet up? He's gotta get over there to make that happen. I would love to see him come up in Doomsday. That would be great too, but you just don't know.
Yeah, it just seems like they're gonna have a Sinister Six worth of villains in this movie, so maybe it is worth putting into 2 movies. Tony, Steven is saying, Dan and Liz, did you watch Alien Earth yet? Not yet.
Not yet.
It's on my list, so I'm
Me
gonna
too.
watch it, and maybe we can talk about it tomorrow. John,
I'm gonna watch it just for Timothy Oliphant. Holy cow!
Well, John is already through like the first episode, so he's probably gonna review it as well. If not now, then on Friday. But Enterprising, thank you so much for the super chat. A $5 super chat. With great power comes great responsibility. So absolutely it does. And hopefully we'll get that. I mean, there's no uncle or aunt, no Uncle Ben, no Aunt May. So I don't know if you're gonna get another iteration of that. Maybe they'll bring in Dakota Johnson's Madam Web in Avengers Secret Wars, and then she is going to tell.
She's the one they can leave out. No, she's the one we can do without.
With great responsibility, great power must come or will come, or something like that.
No, you can bring Morbius in. Morbius is all right. We don't need Madam Web. No, thank you.
Yeah. By the way, it's going to be a year of John Bernthal next year between Avengers Doomsday. I'm sure he's going to be a part of that. Or I guess as of right now he is in.
Well,
but he's
and he and Tom Holland are both in the Odyssey.
They're in Spider-Man. He's got his own Punisher special. He's in Daredevil Born Again season 2. Holy cow! It's going to be the year of John Bernthal. So yeah, he does swear like a sailor. Listen to Liz. That's the rule here.
I mean, if everybody lived like that, y'all would be much better off. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Travis asking, I do wonder if Glasgow is a location in the movie or just a stand-in for New York. It is a stand-in for New York. Yes. So if you look at some of the photos, they actually have police cruisers like NYPD chasing the tank. I don't know if you can see it in any of these photos. You can see those taxis look like they're from New York. In some of these shots in the background, you can even see American flags. There you go. So those are stand-ins for New York City, Lower Manhattan specifically. And this isn't the first superhero movie to do that. So we have seen the Flash shoot their Batman chase sequence at the beginning of the movie in Glasgow. They've also shot, I think, the graveyard scene at the end of The Batman in parts of the UK. I think Liverpool as well as Glasgow. And on the Marvel front, I think they've shot a few things there too. So this is not the first. And probably won't be the last. I mean, the tax incentives are great, and it works surprisingly well as a stand-in, at least for like a block. That a 1 block of Manhattan potentially could work. So, yeah, I don't think this is the European thing. But hey, Monique is here. Hello, Monique. How are you doing? You're joining in a little bit late, but that's okay. We've still got like half a show to go, man. So it's all good. Let us know how you're doing in the chat, and we'll keep on talking about Marvel. In fact, I think actually, you know what? That is all the Marvel we got for now. I was gonna see if there's anything else. We might have some more Marvel in the quick hits, but speaking of which, I think that's about where we are headed next. So let us know what you guys thought about all the news, the Fan Expo Boston review that Liz gave. If you have any more questions about how best to approach going to a Comic-Con, get in the comments down below. Let us know if you have questions for us. We'll bring them in tomorrow's show. But hey, let us know about your favorite part of the news show. We are not done yet with the news because now we move on to the quicker part of the news, and then we have DC news coming up. So I'm gonna hit that quick hits music, Liz, and we're gonna get started. The very first quick hit we have, Eddington, is already released on digital. Literally weeks after it came out, it only took $11 million at the worldwide box office, and practically a flop from Ari Aster, and now you can rent the movie featuring Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal for $20. Liz, are you surprised that they didn't take very long to take this thing out of theaters?
No, it didn't do, again, like you said, it didn't do well in the box office. It's really intense. Quite frankly, as I said in my review, you're basically just going to get PTSD from the height of COVID and all the crazy shit we saw on the internet at the time. It was well made. But it's a lot. It's a lot, and I don't think people have any interest in spending their hard-earned dollars and giving up 2 hours of their time in a theater to watch it. So stream it at home, maybe put it on in the background. Don't pay attention too close to it, because you're just going to want to end up in the fetal position in the corner of your closet somewhere. So yeah
expensive indie film.
yeah
It just, I'm not surprised, and it's Ari Aster, so hopefully they make some of their money back, because they didn't do that in theaters. But anyway, speaking of superheroes though, Liz, Anthony Starr, Homelander.
I should be meeting him
where are you meeting him?
I should be meeting him at the end of this year as well.
Oh, nice. Well, Anthony Starr just wrapped up his final day on set of The Boys' final season. So he's saying goodbye to Homelander, of course. One of the better, I'm not as big of a fan of The Boys, so I don't think he's like one of the best villains in the comic book TV show. But
he's pretty terrible.
He was pretty emotional about it, saying, "We created a monster, and I will miss him." What do you think about, of course, now in hindsight, of course, we haven't seen the final season yet, but it was difficult for him to put it into words what an incredible ride this has been. Anthony Starr no longer going to be Homelander unless we get any more spin-offs with him, but it seems like he's sort of done for the character, at least as of now. How do you look back at his run as Homelander?
I mean, objectively, this kind of launched his career. He's been in the business for a while, but now he's become more mainstream, more popular. So I hope this opens a lot of doors for him moving forward. They are still doing, what is it, Class V or whatever
Gen
the
V.
shit. Yeah, Gen V.
Yeah.
So he might make some cameos in that possibly as Homelander, but we'll see. I really liked the way he portrayed this character. He's an absolute piece of shit, and he did such a good job with it. So I'll miss him too, to a degree.
Awesome. All right, well, moving on to the next thing. Actually, there was a bigger quote from him here saying, "This complicated character allowed the space and range to discover and push boundaries in a way I never expected, and I will always be grateful for this experience." So yeah, as much as I am not a fan of his takes on actual superheroes like Superman and Batman, I do think he did a decent job of playing Homelander, which again is meant to be a villain. So I know a lot of you guys wanted him as Booster Gold or another character in the DCU. We will see if that ever happens. But anyway, let's move on to the next quick hit. Leonardo DiCaprio recently.
Gardner too. Just saying.
Good who?
He would have been a good guy, Gardner.
Well, it's taken up now, so.
Well, yeah.
But hey, Leonardo DiCaprio, of course, Leo himself.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever read in my life.
Apparently, passing on Boogie Nights' role is his biggest regret. The role, of course.
That's so weird. That's the weirdest
went to Marky Mark.
I've read in my life. That makes no sense at all.
Like, of all the things
Could
that he
you
probably
guys
passed
picture
up on.
Leonardo goddamn DiCaprio and Boogie Nights? Ew.
I will say though,
No.
if your biggest regret in your career is passing on Boogie Nights, that
It's
must
weird.
mean you picked some really good movies to actually be a part of. You know what I
It's
mean? Like,
weird. He's an Oscar winner. It's weird.
I mean, he did look really different. He played some different roles back in the day. A young Leo.
And he's doing that now, but that's it hurts my brain thinking about that. It's so
All right. Well, Liz, this is
weird.
hilarious and sad at the same time.
It's also weird.
Jessie Cave, who appeared as Lavender Brown in the Harry Potter films, she has now set up an OnlyFans account to get some money and to get out of debt and make fixes around her house, which is, again, both sad and, I mean, I initially got a laugh out of it, but then...
If I could get my feet pics off the ground, gang, you'd never see me again, you know?
My first reaction was, I forgot who she was and if she was in the movies, but apparently she was Ron's girlfriend for a bit before the Hermione era began. So, and Hermione wasn't a fan of her though. So there you go.
None of us were.
Yep.
So
anyway,
weird.
moving on. I thought you would appreciate that though.
Hey,
anyway.
my boy.
Of course, you got a signature.
Tell him, by the way, I did tell him that he was the heart of the Mission Impossible franchise because he fucking was.
He was.
And he was lovely. He was a lovely man.
I love the moment where he's like, "Oh man, I wasn't looking at it in 3D," and he turns around, like, it's like it's left.
Yes.
It's like, okay.
Sorry, I sent it that way. So I purposely picked this picture, I will say, because I hope to one day meet Nick Frost. So I was just trying to kill two birds, and so we'll see if that ever happens.
Good.
Cross your fingers for me, gang.
Yep. Well, hey, Simon Pegg recently praised Quentin Tarantino's batshit crazy movie, according to
So
Simon
wild.
Pegg. But he did kind of tamper some expectations, saying he isn't quite sure fans would like it because, well, I guess, in the same vein as batshit crazy for maybe not the reasons that fans would expect. The full quote is, "That was what we call in the business batshit crazy." He told the SFF Gazette, "It was everything you would expect a Quentin Tarantino Star Trek script to be. I think it would have been such an incredible sort of curio to see Star Trek through his lens. I don't know how it would have gone over with the fans, but it certainly would have been an interesting thing." Liz, do you think with the new Paramount that they might actually greenlight this thing and bring in a director to make it?
No, I don't think I mean, maybe he'll do his own version, Star Trek adjacent, but they will never let him use the actual name Star Trek. So possibly
I actually loved Star Trek Beyond. Yeah.
Listen, I would tune in. I would check it out. I do love Quentin Tarantino for the most part. I love Star Trek, as evident by my binder. So I would be interested in seeing it, but I just think for the overall brand, that's not something that they would ever commit to doing.
Yeah, I think that was the idea ultimately. Like they saw the script and Paramount was like, I don't know if that's what we want to do with Star Trek. I don't know. Maybe Star Trek needs an Elseworlds logo, and maybe then they can do it. But anyway,
Okay.
Dan Levy has been working on a new comedy for
Good
Netflix.
for you,
We
Dan.
now know it's called Big Mistakes, and it has rounded out its cast. Of course, the Schitt's Creek Emmy winner has co-created and actually is starring in the series himself, which is now in production. So they have begun filming in New Jersey. It has the title Big Mistakes, and it's about two quote-unquote deeply incapable siblings who were blackmailed into the world of organized crimes. That sounds really, really interesting to me, quite frankly. I'm all for this one. So, Liz, they also have added, in addition to Levy himself, Taylor Ortega, who's going to be playing the other sibling
Nice.
to Levy's character. Laurie Metcalf is also in the show.
I love Laurie.
And they're joined by Jack Inanen from FX's Adults, Boran Kazum, and Abby Quinn from Knock at the Cabin, while Elizabeth Perkins, Jacob Gutierrez, Joe Barbera, Josh Fadem, and Mark Evanier will have recurring roles. So there's a few names in there that you recognize, I'm sure, and of course,
very cool.
Dan Levy at the very top of the pile. So that looks interesting, actually. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing, shall we? NBC Universal has now acquired Robert Ludlum's Bourne and Treadstone book series in a massive deal. This could, probably would, and probably will, and probably should pave the way for the return of the beloved spy Jason Bourne. These series now, the rights to them will be with NBC Universal in perpetuity, so forever. And I guess that means we might be getting Matt Damon's return as Jason Bourne. We might be getting other iterations. Maybe they recast him. We don't have the actual number of how much it costs, but apparently, according to Variety and their sources, it was a highly competitive bidding situation. They got 7 offers, both from streamers as well as studios, before a massive 9-figure proposal that brought the rights back to Universal. Remember, we talked about this a while ago. These rights had gone into the free market because NBC, of course, originally the movies were made by Universal Studios with all the Bourne movies, but then the rights sort of lapsed, and then they went into the open market, and NBC ended up having to bid for it, and it looks like 9 figures. So at least you're looking at $100 million or more. Liz, are you surprised by this, and would you like to see more Matt Damon, Jason Bourne?
As much as I love Matt Damon, as much as I love the Jason Bourne films, I feel like a lot of time has passed. I feel like poor Matt may not be up to it. It's a lot of, I just worry for him. But sure, if for me, if it's a good script, if it's a good film, why not? If Matt's down for it, I'm happy to see it happen.
Yeah, and it actually too, Tony,
I agree, absolutely.
The Bourne movies did change and kind of for the better in a lot of ways. They modernized the Mission Impossible but also the James Bond movies. So
yeah.
I had a mixed opinion of the last 2 Bourne movies. I thought Bourne Legacy was better than most people give it credit for, but still pretty mediocre overall. And then what was it called? The Jason Bourne movie with Matt Damon when he came back.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was like, this movie is about a whole hell of a lot of nothing. Like it had less to do with Jason Bourne the character for a movie that actually is called Jason Bourne than any of the other movies prior with Matt Damon. So I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of those, but I wouldn't mind more Jason Bourne. I just think they need to, like Figure Drawing is saying, maybe they need to bring in a new actor, because at this point also Matt Damon, while he can still be in great shape, he doesn't look as young as he used to, obviously. When you bring in a new actor, maybe you can have a fresh start. They have the rights, they paid a lot of money for it, so why not, right? Maybe give him a whole new trilogy, maybe redo something. Bourne Legacy wasn't the best, but then again, I mean, like I said, it wasn't as bad as some people say it was. So that's all I'll say to that. Moving on to the next thing, YouTube has now launched an AI age verification tool in the US, which will automatically restrict users estimated to be under 18 years of age. So I guess you'll only get the YouTube Kids edition.
Hey, this is great if it works. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
It works, but I'm sure there's going to be ways to exploit it, and people will find loopholes and borrow somebody else's password, whatever. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. Yeah. It's true, Yash. Actually, very, very true. I mean, for me, this is a situation where, again, like you said, Liz, AI is not quite there yet. So I wonder if it's going to actually work as expected. Maybe it will. Who knows? But the other day we were talking about how Netflix had a new fourth most watched movie ever. Now we know that K-pop Demon Hunters, which was that movie, has moved on from the 4th spot in their all-time watch list, highest watch list, most watch list, to number 2, still sitting with the 97% Rotten Tomatoes score. K-pop Demon Hunters now is the 2nd most watched movie ever in the history of Netflix, sitting only behind Red Notice, which of course still holds a record. Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot, 230.9 million views.
Which is so weird.
Yeah. Your thoughts?
I mean, I probably won't ever see it, but I also heard that the music is doing really, really well as well for a band that's not real. It's pretty wild. Good for them. I hope it sounds like people are really enjoying it. So hey, why not?
Yeah. Not maybe for some of us, but I'm sure some of you guys watching might love it. So there you go. Not for everybody though. This was kind of funny. Actually, not funny. This was kind of amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
I saw this, and like you can see, I gave it like 3 heart eye emojis. Somebody took a bunch of scenes from the movie Superman and animated it almost like it's like an action figure come to life. And quite frankly, cool. This looks as good as if Warner Brothers or DC Studios did it themselves. Liz, it goes to show you how many talented folks out there, obviously inspired by the movie Superman, turning their attention, because it's one of those things where you have so many talented artists out there, but they don't have something like the IP of a Superman to work on. And now with fan art, like something like this, obviously it feels like Superman, but the way it's made and done, it's like I said, it looks like a toy come to life. The details are impeccable. This looks amazing.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. I hope that Adit I-26 gets to do more of this. I would love to see what else he can come up with. But anyway, moving on to the next thing. I don't know, Liz, if you were a big Doctor Who fan. I know John would probably appreciate this, but
John,
he's already expressed his frustration behind what's going on with the Doctor Who series. And now we have Russell T Davies, the most recent showrunner of the Doctor Who franchise, saying that he's completely in the dark about what's going on with the future of the show, saying, I literally don't know. We know there's rumors of like Disney Plus might no longer be involved financially with BBC. That deal might fall apart. BBC might be rebooting it. Obviously, we know the previous Doctor, the one you see here, he's no longer going to be around. He was only there for like 2 or 3 seasons. So, and we have seen all kinds of comments, both from Billie Piper, who just returned, as supposedly the next Doctor at the end of the previous series. It's just kind of in a weird spot right now. It's kind of like what Star Wars is, right? And it's just. It just feels weird. I actually really sorry. Go ahead. You were gonna say something?
No, I feel like they're making some weird decisions and just things. They need to right the ship somehow, and I don't know how they're gonna do that.
Yeah, I mean, Ncuti Gatwa, I loved him in Barbie. I think he was a great up and coming actor. Nobody's ever said
in The Roses coming out. So
yes, that movie looks so fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
Wicked.
Looks wild.
No pun intended, but Yeah, it does look. It looks wild. That's very well said. Speaking of wild, Billy Bob Thornton coming back. Landman is setting a season 2 premiere date on Paramount Plus. We know Landman got a season 2 a long time ago. Of course, the show also stars several other big name actors, including Demi Moore, Andy Garcia, and Ali Larter. I think she was in the first season. This is from Paramount Television Studios, and we know that season 2 will premiere from Taylor Sheridan, of course, on November 16th. The the new season, or the drilling, as they say in the story, resumes in November, so right around Thanksgiving time. I've only seen like parts of this show. It intrigued me. I've not seen the whole thing. I mean, Ali Larter is underrated. Obviously, Billy Bob Thornton, he was
I love her.
one of the first co-stars for John Cena. Speaking of Peacemaker,
Yeah.
Back in was it the Marine? Or was it one of the early John Cena movies? Somebody tell me in the show, in the chat. But yeah, I mean, hey, Taylor Sheridan, Paramount is hooked on Taylor Sheridan, and it looks like that's one thing the new Paramount is not changing. So, the Paramount is happy in their pants. But with that, we are happy in our pants, and that is the end of the quick hits. So we're gonna move past the quick hits, but guys, we're not done yet. Not even close, because of course we would love for you guys to hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. But like I said, we still have a lot to get into, especially, as I like to say, it's time. Oh, it's time. It's DC time.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chorus.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka.
All right, welcome on into another episode of DCU Daily. Today, as I mentioned at the very top of the show, if you've been watching live, we got a lot of Superman news. We've got some Peacemaker stuff, of course. On the thumbnail, it tells you Peacemaker Season 2. The whole cast was at the red carpet premiere in New York City, and we have some photos from that, and we'll get into some other news as well. James Gunn addressing some news regarding, hey, is Margot Robbie coming back into the world of the DC movies and films? Is she going to do her own thing? Is she ever going to return to the DCU? Does Harley Quinn kind of make the jump from the DCEU to the DCU? We'll talk about that as well. But hey, with that, Liz, I usually throw it over to you. What are your thoughts on all the DC news you've got today? What is your favorite part of the show?
Peacemaker. I mean, for obvious reasons. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for season 2. Can't wait.
Yeah, you actually got to meet John Cena, and apparently you saw him like in the flesh. I mean, that's rare. Most people
shook his
can't
hand.
see him.
Made direct
That's
eye
awesome.
contact. He's a lovely man. He smiled at me. I smiled at him. It was great.
Well, the very first thing we're going to talk about, we have been talking about this pretty much every day on the show for weeks now, is an update for Superman at the box office. Now it has crossed, finally, oh my God, finally it has crossed the 250 million mark at the overseas box office, international box office. Domestically, it passed 250 a long time ago. Finally, internationally, it's crossed that milestone.
Getting there. It's getting there, gang.
Not the most impressive thing in the world, but considering how superhero movies are doing this year, that's still, something worth noting. And in the same sentence, Fantastic Four continue to struggle. Of course, we know Weapons is rushing its way to 100 million, going to have a second weekend at the top of the box office. Now, of course, we are looking at a total global cume. The last check was 583 million for Superman. So can it get to 600? It's also going to be coming out on digital this Friday. So we'll talk about that again in a little bit, which seems a little bit early still to me. But Fantastic Four, on the other hand, it continues to drop, and not just domestically, but also abroad. People are thinking it might not even make 500 million at this point. I know it's kind of a dead horse at this point because we've beaten it every day over and over again to the point where it might even be The Walking Dead now. But you guys let me know. Are you excited to see that Superman has finally crossed $250 million? It's been a long time. I mean, it felt like at one point it might not get there, but it looks like it did. I don't think it's going to get to 300 million, but it's adding up to potentially a $600 million box office, which I know one of you guys in the chat predicted that. So you might get a prize for that. Anyway,
It's gonna be a bill. It's gonna be a bill.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go see it 3 more times.
Well,
it'll get there.
absolutely. Speaking of Superman, we know at the beginning of the movie we see the Superman logo with like the original comic with the Fleischler cartoon ripping the shirt off, and you see the Superman logo on the chest. Somebody at Digimanga, actually, the great artist, they created a version of this for Peacemaker, basically showcasing the very first appearance of Peacemaker in the comics, and then kind of talking about, or maybe just expounding on the idea that maybe, just maybe, DC should try to do this, where for every character, so if it's a piece, obviously at this beginning of Peacemaker
Kind
season
of like
2,
what Marvel does. Yeah, it'd be cool.
like they customize it so it's the character that you're about to see, so you don't see Superman every time. Maybe you see Peacemaker instead. Liz, would you like to see this? It's a lot more work. Then again, it's a freaking movie studio. I'm sure they can figure it out. Would you like to see more
got an
of
extra
this?
5 minutes. It'll be fine. No, I think it's great. I really like it. Again, it's kind of like what Marvel does. They switch it up at the end, for the intro for everything. Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah. Yep. By the way, great theory, Travis. We will definitely be talking about it more in the days and weeks to come. This, by the way, is really cool. I love this idea. I would love to see like Batman Brave and the Bold comes out. You get the very first appearance of Batman when you look actually quite different. This is an AI, by the way, figure drawing. I don't think this is that. This is an artist who's done quite a bit of work before this even. So yeah, MTG, I agree with you though. Superman, they should have waited to put it out on streaming. I think again the reason is a lot of kids are going back to school, so schedules will change. They're seeing the drop on a day-to-day basis, so not as many people are going to see it. So I'm okay with that. 600 million still in reach though. The next thing here, speaking of James Gunn, the director of Superman, this is now from the hour-long The Adventures in the Making of Superman documentary that's available on YouTube. And in one of the scenes, this is like a costume fitting for David Cornsweat Superman, and James Gunn is sort of just talking about, he's using Batman in a really like an analogous sense. Like he's sort of he's not maybe saying that he hates Batman, but he's just saying, like, oh yeah, like Superman, like what's the thinking behind Superman's suit? Well, with Batman, if I was doing Batman, I'd get it into it like Batman's a effing maniac. So he puts on a freaking scary bat costume and goes out and tries to scare people. So people have sort of blown that quote out of proportion and said that James Gunn kind of hates Batman, or this is how he thinks of Batman, or maybe a very shallow understanding. Liz, do you agree? Do you think this is just James Gunn being a director, trying to like work with David Cornsweat and getting to the right mindset? Or is this exactly how James Gunn is or has been approaching Batman with the script that he's working on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of how he is. He's always been very open and very direct. Like I think a lot of the times he has a thought and then posts it, so he always kind of lets us know where he's at and also, where he expects the direction of things to be heading. So he's been very, very clear with us about his vision and how he's doing things. And also explains why, he does things the way that he does. So yeah, I mean, this all kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah. And then Tony, just to kind of answer, I think what Gunn is saying here, he's like probably the part that's not quoted here is he's talking about like the thinking behind the character, like as an actor, like what are you thinking about, like when you put on the costume,
like
what's going through your mind?
Choice.
Yeah, like it's like, because David Cornsweat Superman, I mean, Clark Kent basically can go around flying without the costume on. Why does he put on the costume? We have heard David Cornsweat mentioned like the trunks are meant to make him feel more approachable to the average person, to the kids, and so he's just using that and then kind of going off on a tangent and talking about Batman. I don't think it means James Gunn thinks of Batman in as shallow a sense as this implies. And you guys can go watch the whole hour-long documentary and get more of a sense of that too. Mostly about Superman, but nonetheless. And then part of the same documentary, I remember seeing some of these interviews before in like different behind the scenes specials leading up to Superman coming out. But one of the things that is making the rounds on the internet now again is David Cornsweet and James Gunn. They had this really spirited debate on the set while filming that big monologue from Superman, like towards the end of the movie when he's talking to Lex, and you can see David Cornsweet is really riled up. They did a lot of takes, and James Gunn is like also very set in like what he wants to see. And then you can see in the video, James Gunn, of course, he likes to, operate from the video village, speaking directions into a microphone over a speaker into where the set is. And so from an actor's perspective, most actors prefer like the director walk up to them, talk to them between takes, or be in the same space. James Gunn is sort of a little bit different with that. And you could tell like here, like they got into quite a bit of a spirited discussion, like,
yeah, it certainly wasn't a fight, but it was, they were both trying to understand where the other one was coming from, but then also trying to, like, David was trying to express, like, it doesn't make sense to me that I would be saying these things, and so then James was saying, well, this is your motivation, this is why you're coming from this point of view. It was actually really interesting to see, because this does happen a lot with actors and directors and actors and writers. You always hear that cliche line of like, what's my motivation? Because sometimes actors need to understand that deeper meaning behind the couple of words and phrases that they're putting out there in order to really connect with that character. So I appreciate that both of them care so much that, again, David was coming to him and being like, this line in particular does not make any sense in the context. And then James was like, well, actually, if you look at it this way, it makes perfect sense. So I think it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, and it's one of those things where he's the director, right? Like ultimately on set, like I've directed a couple of things and I'm like, yeah, what the director says goes. And if you're not the director, then you got to defer to the director's judgment. And I realize that actors want to do their own thing, and certain directors will let the actors sort of improvise a bit more. Other directors are like, I want this, and this is what you're gonna do, and that's basically it. That's what you signed up for. So but seeing this, I think this was a good kind of spirited debate where they obviously were both very impassioned about the monologue and what it means to the movie. And I'm sure David Cornsweet, as an actor, you got to get into the mindset for what he's playing, the emotion he's trying to portray. So he might not actually, feel that way about Gunn, but in the moment you could tell like they were really, on the end of a long day, probably like a 10-12 hour day, which isn't uncommon on movies like this, and most movies, quite frankly. But the next thing, I know you guys are going to enjoy this because John has been ranting on this endlessly and throwing profanities out at Jeff Snyder. But if you remember the other day, Jeff Snyder posted this, rumor that, hey, Robin might be appearing in Batman 2. It's a big creative swing and stuff. And then James Gunn directly denied that rumor, saying debunking it completely in a way that almost sort of like threw shade directly onto Jeff Snyder. Like he was like, stop believing this nonsense, it's completely untrue. Only like a handful of people, I think it's like said 4 or 6 people have read the script, so I don't know where this information is coming from. And since then it's kind of led to Jeff Snyder sort of like just shouting back at James Gunn online, to the point where now he directly called out James Gunn on the latest edition of the Hot Mic podcast, saying, I don't give a F about what James Gunn says anymore. This guy is the most annoying studio head I've ever heard of or met or seen or anything. I don't think it's winning him any fans. I don't think it's winning him any fans on the Warner Brothers lot, where I know people find him and his antics to be annoying. Bro, your movie is probably going to get to 600 million. Take the W if you want to call it that, and shut up, go focus on reading scripts and making movies and TV shows, because it seems you got paid a lot of money to spend a lot of time on Blue Sky and Threads. Holy shit, like Jeff Snyder went off. But to me, like the way I took this, just before you give your opinion on this list, Jeff Snyder, like it's for somebody who's literally makes a living off of giving us scoops, which he doesn't just put out willy-nilly. Is part of a newsletter people have to subscribe to. This is how he makes a living. And when James Gunn, a studio head who obviously makes a lot more money than Jeff Snyder probably does, and has a lot more credibility in the sense that he runs DC Studios, so of course he would know. for James Gunn to directly debunk something and do it in a way that, you know, felt particularly targeted at specifically what Jeff Snyder said in that particular instance, I'm sure Jeff Snyder probably took it as like, this guy's like trying to put me out of a job, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go on the offensive now, because this isn't the first time that's happened. Not saying that Jeff Snyder's ever got it right and James Gunn has got it wrong, because of course James Gunn's the man in charge making the decisions. Ultimately, I still think this is a little bit petty. Liz, what are your thoughts on this? Jeff Snyder, of course, most people
the only
are not
person
fans
putting
of him.
Jeff Snyder out of a job is Jeff Snyder. Like, this is not the way to do it. This is not the forum to do it. And then, of course, when shit goes south for him, he's going to be surprised. He's going to be shocked. He never saw this coming. How can this happen? I have yet to like anything that this guy has ever said. So I don't know what it is with dudes in the last name Snyder, but what the fuck? Oh well. I mean, he just sounds really petty, and I feel bad for him, actually. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. I wish I'm right now just craving a rant from John, because John would just talk about this for the next half hour, because with all kinds of, although he's done it so many times. But you're right, Liz. It's just one of those things where I understand the perspective, but again, you're the one bringing out the scoops. Like, if you're not willing to put in the work, if you don't have the connections, I'm not saying you're not putting in the work, but if Jeff Snyder does not have the connections to verify the information he's then passing along to the fans or to the paying subscribers to his newsletter, and then, you know, somebody like a James Gunn, who obviously is in the know as a studio head, basically tells him like, hey, or not tells him, but tells the world like, don't believe this. This is not true. How would anybody even know this? Nobody has read the script outside of half a dozen people, if that, and certainly none of those people are talking. So, you know, it's one of those things where I'm not in the corner of Jeff Snyder. I somewhat understand his anger, because if he feels like this is affecting his livelihood, but at the same time, I mean, I think you said it right, Liz. Like, James Gunn is particularly active on social media, and we all wonder if he gets any time to sleep in between. But I mean, that's all right, as long as
that's the only thing I worry about. I'm like, bro, like,
while making great
good
movies.
For the mental health, can't be good for the physical health. Like, take a break every so often, man. You know, I hope he goes on a nice long vacation soon. Holy shit.
Yeah. And Frankie G pointed out correctly that James Gunn did say Ultraman was not in the movie. Then we got the toys that pretty much gave it away before the movie even came out. And then we know that, of course, Ultraman is in the movie. So we have seen instances in the past where simply to hide a secret, like, you know, actors, producers, directors,
which is what he should be doing. Again,
will deny that. So
we don't want studios giving everything away. So that's fine. I don't mind being lied to in that context, because it doesn't affect me one way or the other. If anything, it's a really nice surprise. Oh, James says he wasn't here, and look, there he is. Cool. I think that's great. I'm not going to be like, fuck you, James. Like, that's a really weird way to take that.
I also, by the way, the allegations of he's been, you know, he's annoying and not liked for his antics on the Warner Brothers lot. Those seem kind of unfounded. It just, to me, it comes across as Jeff Snyder's just sort of like ranting angrily. So I don't know if I would if I could take those at face value about James Gunn being branded as annoying, because again, who's your source? Not saying that you have to tell us, but for all you know, your source is like a janitor on the lot who's talking to a producer, and like some random actor walks by and says, "Oh, James Gunn, oh yeah, that guy, that annoying dude." Like, maybe something like that. It's kind of like, you know, how trade rumors go in the NBA and stuff. So you got to make sure your source is good. And I don't know. I mean, as a journalist, most people will not reveal their sources, and Jeff Snyder probably doesn't either. However, I think this battle, James Gunn won, and Jeff Snyder just coming across looking a little petty at the end of the day, which, like I said, a little bit understandable, but there's no need for a rant. But Liz, we do have a few other things to get into. I actually was just completely fascinated by Digi Meng, who's created a few more posters here. This is a concept poster for Supergirl coming out summer 2026. This is inspired by Frank Cho's variant cover for Supergirl. Of course, she's described as a total mess in the upcoming movie, a very different version of Supergirl, maybe a bit darker, more punk rock than ever. Or I guess it depends on how you describe punk rock now. But Liz, what are your thoughts on this poster? It looks pretty accurate when you compare it to the shot that we have gotten in the movie. The collar doesn't quite match, but it still looks pretty cool to me. What do you think?
I mean, it's cute. She looks a little more angelic than she should, but yeah, it's well made. It's very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the shirt is cute. I think, like Monique, the only thing for me that doesn't line up here is we know that the collar is going to be similar to Superman from like that one shot that we have from the last bit of the Superman movie where you do see Cara Danvers at the end, and she doesn't. Like the logo is fine, the colors look okay, some of the details are slightly off, but that's all right. I also just for fun's sake, I like that these Fantastic v Superman Dawn of Box Office posters, they would have hit better if both movies were performing even better at the box office, but it's been a long time since we've gone a Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, so I figured why not. What was it? Super fantastic was the word we used to describe the potential doubleheader you could have done over the. I mean, Angelica actually went and saw Jurassic World, Superman, and Fantastic Four all in one day. So, and then the Watcher has seen Superman like 8 times. M2G's seen it 8 times.
I've seen Superman 3 times now.
Yeah. The costume is well balanced, Monique, aesthetically for Supergirl. I think, and seeing Superman's costume without the underoos also kind of was like, they definitely would have made it a lot different if it didn't have underoos. Like, and that's also in the Superman documentary. Especially, speaking of which, Adventures in the Making of Superman, Liz. Some of the highlights here, the costume fitting we've talked about before. You can see the material even is not the same and it's not fitted yet. But the hairstyle like works so amazingly well. We've talked about how Clark Kent does not look.
Again, he's such a chameleon. Superman. Like just from that first picture, I mean, it's a completely different human being. You will never recognize him walking on the street because you like what?
It's crazy. He looks like Matt Bomer here from White Collar.
Yeah, he does. It's wild. It's wild.
And then you keep going here again. Another look, and he looks different there again.
Unbelievable. It looks like he's wearing a wig in this one. For Christ's sake, it's wild.
Yep, and of course Rachel Brosnahan. I don't know which part of the movie this is from, or if this is for marketing purposes. This is from the table read. You can see even Peter Safran's there, some other producers and actors from the movie. Jennifer Holland, of course, there in the front. This is some storyboard work. I wonder if that's from the Daily Planet. Some filming behind the scenes in Svalbard. The Fortress of Solitude set, I think, was one of my favorite sets in the movie. Liz, I don't know if you're a big fan of the Fortress set because they did so much of this practically. It was impressive how big this whole thing was.
Yeah, I dug it. I wish we could see a little more of it, but that's always kind of the way the Fortress has been, at least again in the iterations that I've seen.
The Christopher Reeve one, I think, kind of like set that.
Yeah, the Christopher Reeve one. Yeah, we only just saw like the one big vast room. It's not like we saw like Superman's bedroom. It's not like we saw did he have a kitchen in there. So yeah, I would like to explore a little more and see what else he's got going on, but I also do kind of like the mystery of it and just keeping it to this one area.
Yeah. And then this was just heartwarming. Nayla Howell, Ma Kent, and then you have of course Pa Kent. God, like they were for me some of the best surprises of the entire movie.
They're very sweet, yeah.
The Kents, and they're thematically at the very center of this movie because they of course are the fulcrum around which Superman's character arc evolves and revolves, I should say, in the movie. So that was really, really good. And yeah, the score in this movie is great. I think Fantastic Four had the better score, but it's certainly one of the standouts of the year. This here looks so amazing, especially because when you think about it, that is a reflection looking into an LED screen, which is it's whatever city, this landscape of Metropolis, which is a mixture of Cleveland, Cincinnati, and probably a bunch of other places, is meant to be Delaware, somewhere in Delaware, because that's where Metropolis is in the DCU. But the whole thing is virtual. Like the glass is real. Obviously, Lex Luthor and everybody in the reflection are real. But Liz, it's so impressive that the VFX have gotten to a point where you can take a photo with a camera and you can't tell what you're looking at is an LED screen. Like the volume.
Yeah.
It's amazing how good.
Volume is wild. It's wild.
Yeah. By the way, great question. Does he have a hobby room in the Fortress, Frankie? I don't know. Maybe Superman will.
Maybe it's building robots. Maybe that's his hobby.
That could be. I mean, the more we see from the Fortress, there's more hidden away in those compartments that maybe we got to explore. Then they have some, shots from filming that whole kiss scene at the end of the movie where they're in the train station and you can see they run wires. What I think is particularly hard about all of this is they've got blue wires with a blue suit. So I'm like in post-production, painting that out is a lot of work. But nowadays, if you're a professional, you can do this and have fun with it. So I have tried rotoscoping in the past and I've spent countless hours doing it. It's not fun. But some people do it for a living. So I know John is not the biggest fan of the engineer suit. He thought that it should be closer to what we got in the comics, kind of like the Silver Surfer suit. That's what the engineer looks like. But then here you see, Liz, these are the robots. Like this is all replaced with the Superman robots in the movie. So that's, again, a lot of VFX work involved. And then Guy Gardner, of course, Nathan Fillion. One of the James Gunn favorites. I wonder if this is from the Jahanpur scene towards the end, or if this is like when they're like in the air in Metropolis when they come to help out Superman. So with the kaiju, but he looks great.
Is that
the haircut looks great,
or is that when they're at Jahanpur?
I'm wondering. I think it's one of the other. I'm not sure.
That's because that blue sky that to me would that's Jahanpur.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they color graded it, so it looks a little different than the movie. But yeah, and this is probably similar for a Hawkgirl. Maybe this is when she's dropping the president.
Yeah, that's probably when she was dropping the president. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
We are talking spoilers today.
Look at him, completely different. You've never recognized this individual.
Nope. Eddie Gattegi on the other side, and
literally put all of these pictures up in a police lineup, and you will swear it's a completely different person. It's unbelievable.
Frankie, I'm sure one of the other lanterns will glow. I don't know, like it's probably a CGI thing. They didn't want to commit to more VFX, or that's just a James Gunn decision. Maybe in the show they will do that, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Liz, I completely agree with you. He looks so different. I mean, obviously the eye makeup hair changes things, but just the haircut alone makes him look completely different. It is wild. It is wild. They did a lot of shooting on these virtual sets, and you can see this looks like it's one of the last days of shooting. So James Gunn and David Cornsweet sharing a hug to celebrate, finishing work on the movie. Now, one other photo that I wanted to share from James Gunn, behind the scenes from when they were filming. I think this was in Cleveland, downtown Cleveland, that dug up a whole sidewalk, and this is in the movie. Obviously, this is when he's fighting the kaiju. We have seen photos from this from behind the scenes when they were filming it last summer. The reason why I bring this up is, while Superman is coming out on digital this Friday, August 15th, I should say, of course, Superman continues to play in theaters. So James Gunn is asking the question, are you going to go catch it in theaters or on digital Friday? Are you going to watch it at home, or are you going to go back to the big screen? So you guys let me know in the chat, or if you're watching after the fact, let me know in the comments. Are you still looking to see this in a movie theater?
Big screen so I can reach a bill.
I don't think there's going to be enough people to go see it in a movie theater to get it there. But
I mean, ticket prices are high, Dan. You don't know.
I don't know. They're not that high. I hope not. But like maybe another 10, 20 million, I would take that. Like get it to 620, 640 maybe. Like it's sitting in the 680s or the 580s right now, I should say. So
I say wait till the end of the year to really get the totals. Give it a chance.
Yeah. M2G prefers the suit that they got for the engineer. That's fine. I mean, I didn't think it was a bad
I don't
suit.
have a problem. I mean, I don't know what it's supposed to be. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah. Tony, on the other end, thinks once in a movie theater is enough for Superman. He's just going to wait till it's out on digital. So there you go.
Okay. You didn't see it in Dolby or IMAX, I guess. Sorry.
All good. All right. Well, I mentioned at the very top, we wanted to talk a little bit about the premiere of Peacemaker on the red carpet in New York City today. And when we started the show, they were, on the red carpet, and season 2, the cast was there. John Cena was there, of course. I think James Gunn was also there. We'll talk about it in a second. But Liz, to start, we know that the show is going to premiere on August 21st. The red carpet premiere was fantastic. We'll talk about it in a minute. But what are your expectations for season 2? Have you seen season 1 all the way through yet, or
yes,
do you need
of
a bit of a
course.
refresher?
Yes. Well, the trailer for season 2 has given us we're going to be in another universe, another multiverse. He reunites with his father. Well, I should say a different iteration of his father. He looks like he's having a damn good time, but he's kind of, thwarted his responsibilities, forgotten about, his responsibilities because he feels like he's living his best life in this other universe. So I'm excited. I'm excited for all of it. And John Cena's excited, you guys. He's so excited for this. He's so happy with how everybody's been feeling about Peacemaker and the positive reviews he's been getting and the reaction from fans. So I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. And then speaking of, they did release a new TV spot, and you do get a hint at more of the multiverse or the pocket dimension shenanigans. Some of the iconic characters from the first season coming back. You have some new ones here as well. It looks fun. And well, we do get to see more helmets, and we do get to see more Mighty Crabjoys, which I don't think Chris Smith is a big fan of.
So cool.
I wonder how much of the season they're going to spend in like the parallel reality, if that's because most of the time TV shows do that. Like it's only like, for half the season or for a few episodes.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be half and half. Well, because the other characters are still in their normal reality, it seems. So they're kind of going to be chasing after him and trying to rein him back in. So I would imagine it'll be kind of half and half here.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's rated R as ever, and so gory, plenty of violence, but a lot of humor, hopefully. And I know that John didn't particularly love the humor, but I think Liz, you did. Speaking of Taylor Swift, I know you're wondering why we're talking about Taylor Swift in the middle of a Peacemaker segment. Hold on, I'm gonna get there. But yesterday on the show, John talked about how she's released the name of her new album, The Life of a Showgirl. We know it's got an October release date. It's even got a track featuring Sabrina Carpenter, and there's a lot of new artwork and photos for a whole album's worth that Taylor Swift posted up. Which again, was The Life of a Showgirl, a very different version of Taylor Swift than we have been used to seeing for a long time. Much more scantily clad than I'd imagine. That's maybe one way of putting it.
I never thought I'd see that much skin from Taylor. Holy cow. Good for her.
Yep.
Good for you, girl. Go ahead.
But you know what? Speaking of The Life of a Showgirl, we have seen a lot more skin from Chris Smith before. So they went ahead and decided that, you know what? The people need a good meme. So The Life of a Showgirl,
everybody's getting in on it. Lover or hater, Taylor's taking up space. I think it's awesome. I'm not a Swiftie, Tony, but I do appreciate everything that girl has to do. And I did see her on the Eras tour in Australia. Thank you.
I don't know if Frank, I think you're giving the thumbs down to the Taylor Swift album cover. What about this album cover? This could be Chris, Smith's claim to fame.
This is what the internet's for, gang. I mean, I love it. I love it. This is great.
Briefs ahoy, yeah.
No, terrible.
Those briefs are doing a lot of work right there.
They are really doing a lot of work. They really are. That is accurate.
Yep. Speaking of doing a lot of work, I wanted to quickly go through some of the stuff that we got at the red carpet from Peacemaker season 2. We're going to discuss it in even more detail tomorrow, and then I'm going to get to the Margot Robbie story at last. But you can see here, they got a bunch of interviews today. John Cena is going to be back on Jimmy Kimmel to talk about the show. Here's a fantastic little video with a group shot of everybody. You got Jennifer Holland there, James Gunn, Danielle Brooks, of course. John Cena is in the costume because of that's basically belongs to him now. Who do you think is the best dressed here? You got, of course, Freddie Stroma there as well. Steve Agee, the whole cast is there.
James Gunn's wife looks really good. I like her outfit.
I was gonna say that outfit is, speaking of scantily clad.
Damn, girl.
And then you got
the
Sacha
gal next to
Bordeaux
her
on the
too,
right.
in that topper dress. That's really nice.
Yep. I think Sacha Bordeaux, that's her name. Yeah. So she's a new addition, and of course Frank Grillo. Kind of you miss him. Blink and you miss him. He's right there.
Where's
too.
Frank? Oh, he's on on the other side of her. Okay.
God, he's on the far right. He's on the far right. Yeah.
Well, I will say, when I came back from the Fan Expo, I came back to my hotel room. They were having a Marvel marathon, and I seeing Frank Grillo in Civil War. I was like, Frank, I just love that man. It makes me so happy. Fingers crossed I get to meet him one day. I hope he starts making the con circuit because I love Frank.
Yeah, he's too much of an actor's actor these days to do that. But who knows? Maybe he'll change his mind.
You don't know.
It looks like John Cena, I mean, as they usually do on red carpets, he did a couple of interviews. This one is from HBO Max directly. He's talking about how this pocket dimension shouldn't really exist, and he's excited to take a part take a part in this future
He's
version of the
so
DCU.
pale, though. He is so pale. Every time I see John Cena, I'm like, spray tan, babe, at the very least. Like, sure, you're trying to avoid the UVs. I get it. That's fine. But a fucking spray tan would do this man wonders. It concerns me. It concerns me. Like, every time I see him, I'm like, he must be low on iron. My God.
I mean, maybe he's just not.
But I
He's
feel
just
that way
not a
about
fan of the
Chris
spray
Evans
tan.
too. If you guys ever see Chris Evans, just in like some candid, he's also pale AF.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
This was kind of funny. It got Jennifer Holland just stepping into the shot. Am I in the shot? Yes, you are in the shot. Freddie Stromer, you can tell for how extroverted he is in the show. He looks like a pretty reserved guy on the red carpet. So I can't wait to see what the intro looks like for the show. That's my next big reveal. Like I'm waiting for. I want to see the new intro. Of course, James Gunn also got interviewed. Talking about Eagly, Ozu, crypto. Testing his loyalties. Of course, there was a recent video talking about like Peacemaker, telling us all the reasons why Eagly is a better, more powerful, capable pet, more of a super pet than crypto, which James Gunn responded to. I don't think Peacemaker realizes that crypto actually has powers and Eagly does not. Eagly is just an eagle. So please rewind. We played it like 5 times, MTG. You rewind and check that out for yourself. Jennifer Holland did look fantastic. She was stunning as well as everybody else. James Gunn going with an all black ensemble there. So that's awesome. Okay. All right, Frankie. This is, of course, I mentioned earlier, Jimmy Fallon. I think I said Jimmy Kimmel, but he's on the Jimmy Fallon show because John Cena and Jimmy Fallon are big friends. I always love the games that they play on the show. So, nice for the marketing. Since they're in New York, why not? So this looks like it's a shout to the whole pocket dimension idea. So I do enjoy that. Educate the average fan on what the pocket dimension concept actually is all about. So, but anyway, we're not gonna watch the whole thing. You guys are welcome to check this out. It's on the Peacemaker Instagram account. This is, of course, in character. What does Chris Smith think about Superman? Have you seen this movie? He's like, oh yeah, I've seen it. I loved the cameo that he had in the movie. Liz, did you? Was it like a blink and miss it for you? Because the very first time, I
caught it. Yeah, no, I clocked it. Oh my God, I was so excited to see him. I thought that was awesome.
Yep, MTG doing the same thing. Yep, everybody catching on to the same thing. They did release a clip. Yash, we looked through that earlier, and we can't show all the clips here because it will get struck for copyright, which makes sense, and I don't blame them. But hey, we just watched this clip on Threads in the whole widescreen, so it's not cropped. But this is the trailer, of course, and they have a new mini trailer clip. There will be more from the red carpet. I'm sure we'll get a photo montage later on, but just since you guys are asking for it, there you go. The cast and the crew for the show. Liz, what are you most looking forward to in season 2? Is there a particular character or storyline based on the trailer that you're most excited about?
I mean, all of it. I'm interested in the whole multiverse situation. I love Danielle Brooks. I'm just excited to see more of her and see her relationship with Peacemaker developed further, because I think the two of them are fun together. I'm a big fan of the ensemble as a whole. And again, Frank Grillo, more Frank Grillo, please. I'm really excited that he's finally, getting more attention and taking on a bigger role. So it's going to be great.
Love the comments. Where's Eagly? Who do you think is recording the video? Of course it's Eagly. Of course it's Eagly doing this thing. Yeah, there you go. But back by popular demand. Am I in the shot? I'm sorry. There you go. Photo bombing Stroma. So, all right. Well, we're gonna talk about it more, I'm sure, tomorrow. Liz, you're back on the show tomorrow. I'm back on the show tomorrow. It's going to be hopefully a bit of a shorter show because today we went, by our standards, this is actually right on par. So with that, guys, thank you for joining us
Thanks for indulging me, gang.
And if you have any more questions for Liz about Comic Cons in general, if you're interested in checking them out, if you have questions about how Liz goes about her day,
two more this year. Yep.
what are going to be some of her favorite moments she's looking forward to. What are her favorite moments from past Comic-Cons? We will talk about that again tomorrow. And of course, we have a few trailers we didn't get to today, so we will get into those tomorrow. Tony, of course, I think the offer is still on the table, Liz, so I don't know if you're interested. Tony was basically like, marry me, Liz, like 5 times over earlier. But
Tony,
hey,
we'll talk about it. I've heard Nova Scotia's lovely.
there you go. Liz's people will reach out to Tony's people, and then I'm sure we'll figure out the rest from there. Exactly, the HBK pose. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, Peacemaker. He's flexible. He's flexible. But hey, speaking of flexible, so are we, and we have flexed up the time of this show to almost 3 hours. But we're gonna leave you there. Join us tomorrow for another fantastic show. We're going to be talking about, like I said, a few trailers that dropped today we didn't get a chance to talk about, more DC news, more Marvel news. Of course, Liz, any experiences that you haven't shared with us from your Boston Fan Expo or other Comic-Cons you have been to in the past or will be going to later this year, we'll talk about those. And until then, as always, James Gunn, we just talked about him for the last half hour or so. As he likes to tell you, as Superman would like to tell you, don't forget to look up.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka!